female lesbian Shinji Ikari.
Can't say any blanket statement because there will be someone in the audience that gets up and be like, not me, sir. Not me.
A lot of times the main dude is simply like really unfuckable. He just is a self-insert. He's there.
Did you just make that up? Okay, that's great. Can we put that on a shirt? No, wait, that might be problematic. People might
she's problematic. It's okay.
Stone us.
The context was like, they didn't like bloom into you, but they loved this show. Oh. And I'm like, that's homophobic.
Bro, you started off with a 12-year-old made it, and then just followed up with no disrespect.
Well, Aragi's kind of got the drip.
Meanwhile, Evangelion fan here is like, yes, they're yelling at each other. They're yelling their feelings, hate each other more. This is great.
Like, definitely like a porn game adaptation, but they cut out the porn.
Ooh.
We have arrived in hell.
Hey guys, welcome to the Just Weebs podcast. I'm your host, Onimaru, and I'm here with Shocking.
Heyo.
And today we are going to be talking about the bottom 100. Now, we spoke about that at the end of our last podcast because on the last one we kind of went through Shaw's revised top 100. So before that, a little before that, I had asked her, like, have you ever ranked the bottom of all of the anime you've watched, and what would those be? Have you ever made a list? And she was like, no, I haven't. I'm like, you should do it. So she has made one, and we're going to talk about it today. We're going to see what, out of the 500 anime that Shaw's watched, what she considers to be, in her opinion, the worst of the worst. I expect to be shocked, angry, and asking her to answer for her crimes. So, but before we... Yes, as one should. But before we get into that, I did reach out to viewers and just people on Twitter to see what, without knowing what's going to be on Shaw's list, what they personally believe should be in the bottom 100 of all anime. And we got a few interesting responses, some expected. One of them being Aldnoah Zero, which I think is expected.
Yeah. I think after it was like, I think it's the combo of like the way season 1 ended and the way season 2 began. I think that's like the sinker for many people.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't even know, like, I haven't even seen the series and even I know what happens. So I'm like, yeah.
See, I thought that, I never finished the series because I refused to finish it. I just dropped it like really late. I'm like 2 episodes away from ending it. And that's like since it aired, but I just don't want to watch it because it just became a train wreck to me. But I thought that people were good with the first season ending and they were kind of hyped, but then like maybe most of the second season was just awful.
Yeah, I think that's what does it. And it retroactively ruins like the first season.
Yeah. So it kind of takes away from it. Then I also have on here Batum, which I've never watched. Have you ever watched it?
No, it looks bad. So I've never watched it.
I've heard some people like it, so I never thought it'd be like bottom tier, but maybe like mid tier. So like it looked like a standard seasonal.
I was talking about this with Sinners and Panic on the Tokyo Podfathers at some point, and I forget what we were talking about, but at some point we were talking, or maybe, no, we were talking about it with Sinris and Maz here, I think, where there's always like a show that everyone hates that you always get that one guy who's like, well, I like it. And it's like, respect to you, but like, the rest of us hate it, so we can't. But like, there's always a defender for certain shows. Like, there's no matter how bad a show gets, there's always that one anime fan who's like, I actually like it. And I think naturally, like, not everything is universally loved nor hated. But I think it's also an anime fan's like nature to be kind of like hipster and contrarian at times.
Yeah, I mean, there's always one guy. It's like that you can't say any blanket statement because there will be someone in the audience that gets up and be like, not me, sir. Not me. I like it.
Yeah, like even like the like universally awful stuff like Poopa or like Shitcom or something, you'll get that one person who's like, well, I found it funny, so I think it's pretty okay. And it's like, shut up. So they literally eat shit. Like, it's not good. It's not good.
I mean, Poopa is on this list, but I have heard that, to be universally hated. I've never watched it, but, I think there's a general consensus towards it being bad. I did have this conversation recently with someone kind of telling me like, you can kind of find a defense for anything and say like, well, that's intentional. It's supposed to suck. That's part of the theming, but that doesn't make you want to like it. So
Yeah, we're gonna get into that later because I have some series where I'm like, are they intentionally like this? If I can't really tell, is that kind of bad in and of itself? So that's a good talking point.
Save the tea for later.
Yeah.
We also got Sangatsu no Lion here, which would be a surprise, but this is from, our viewership who apparently doesn't like Sangatsu no Lion.
Long time watcher, not first time Sangatsu hater, so we're not surprised.
So now we're just desensitized to the Sangatsu hate, just as you should be desensitized to our pancreas hate right here in the back.
But that if you're not, get ready.
My personal hell.
Speaking of hell, I got to give a shout out to my background, but I don't know how to do it in a graceful way. We have arrived in hell, especially Pancreas fans who have clicked on this. I'm sorry.
See, I was saving that for when you got to your bottom 100. So that's truly hell. So
I'll do another shout out and just disappear and just let the background go.
Speak for itself. Yeah. Let the background and then just your disembodied voice will just be reading off the list.
I can do the thing where I completely fade myself out of the green screen and it's just hell.
Do that. All right. What else do we have here? I'm just going to run through the other ones because I don't really recognize most of these, maybe for good reason. Handshakers, Aiken, King's Game.
Yeah,
I think I've heard of that
Osama
one.
Game. It ruins every time I see Osama ranking because I think the word Osama has just been ruined for me because I see Osama Game and I'm like, cool, I want to die.
Is that why you're not caught up to Osama ranking?
No, I keep meaning to binge it, but I've been catching up to other shows.
Yeah, makes sense. Get on it.
Yeah.
Other one on here I think I've seen often is Yosuga no Sora.
Yeah, I think that's like a harem, one of those dating sim shows. Only the main dude hooks up with his sister. So.
Yeah, I really like the response that I got with this, which was oh, this is bad, but not including the incest.
Not even we didn't even get to the incest part.
Not even with the incest.
Yeah.
Then we got Sailor Moon Crystal season 1, which I think is more of an adaptation thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they just really hated the adaptation, which I think people had issues with. Pet Girl of Sakurazo.
That's a hot take. That's a decently well-respected show, I think. A lot of people like it. I feel like it's a common 5 or it's a 6 out of 10 show. Maybe some people have it higher, some don't.
I'm gonna get the Mal consensus. We'll see where it I think falls
it's above an 8.
Wow, it's 8.12.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I think there's some I think is it another? Wait a minute.
Is it another Pancreas? Is that what you're gonna say? Okay.
No, I was gonna say, is it another Mario Okada show? It might be because it has some Mario Okada isms.
Let me double check.
I think it is. Hold on.
Let me see if I beat you to it.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's sus, there's Okada.
Oh my God.
Find it. There it is. There it is. Mario Okada series composition. There it is.
Where there's sus, there's Okada. Is that a saying? Or did you just make that up? Okay, that's great. Can we put that on a shirt? No, wait, that might be problematic. People might
she's problematic. It's okay.
Stone us.
She's not as a person. She just has some weird ass ideas. So to clarify what I mean, there's one of the side couples is this girl who very obviously likes this guy and they've been close friends for a while and he likes her too and everyone knows it, but he feels so inferior to her that he's hooking up with her sister publicly on the side.
This is the Pet Girl anime?
No, yeah, this is one of the side ones. This is the side one. But then they're he's hurting this one girl by hooking up with her sister because he feels inferior to her. And then they reveal oh, I'm not worthy of her, which is why I was fucking her sister. But they still are trying to make them a compelling couple. It's not presented as hey, this is kind of toxic. It's nah, they're endgame. But in the meantime, he needs to get over his inferiority complex by hooking up with her sister. So so it's an Okada-ism of yeah, this is messy and doesn't make sense. We should not it's not that compelling and it's very weird. I mean,
it sounds like it came out from Nana, but then not really at the same time.
Yeah, it's Nana, but they don't recognize that hey, maybe that's not a good way of going about it.
Yeah, this is not okay. Yeah. All right, I will. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch that someday.
I gave it a 6 for what it's worth. I think it has some cool I watched it early on. Maybe it would have been a bit different if I watched it now, but I had fun with it. I think there's some cute ideas. The main theme is fine. I like the main girl. She's actually pretty funny. That's kind of a hot take. I don't think people like the main girl as much as the other girl, but like I think she's funny.
So what do people, since it has such a high rating, do you know what they like really like about it then?
I think it just looks good and is kind of cute and like it's kind of, well, it was for me, so I don't feel bad saying it. I think it's kind of like Baby's first slice of life romance.
Gotcha.
Like, it's like one of those entry level like romance drama series where you're like only watching action and then you go into the like first CW-esque show and that's kind of it. So
got it. Okay.
Yeah. Speaking from experience.
Clearer picture. Yeah, I've had experience with CW shows, so I get it.
Yeah.
Then we got the Hidden Dungeon, and I think that was like this past season. And then the detective is already dead, and they were saying these were LN, like light novel adaptations. Yeah. So, you know, I think light novel adaptations, especially for like, I think these were like isekai or power fantasies or something like that. And usually, you know, we have so many of them, they're usually not always done very well. So yeah, it's to be expected. You know, kind of like the adaptation process doesn't really do the original source material justice. So
yeah.
Then I'm gonna run through the rest. Battery, Perfect Insider, Jibiate.
I saw the first episode of Jibiate, and I do think that is probably like, I didn't finish it, but it's probably the worst show I've seen. I think it's like really, really bad. Like okay. I think a 12-year-old made it. No disrespect.
You started off with a 12-year-old made it, and then just followed up with no disrespect.
Wait, hold on. Disclaimer: respect the anime industry, respect creators. But it does feel like it does give the impression of like 12-year-old made it on their like PC one day kind of thing.
Okay, I get it. I mean, that's how 50 Shades of Grey was made. So
yeah. I have a fun fact about that, but that's for another time.
Yeah, another time.
Yeah, but no, I think there was some tea about like Jibiate was made by like 3 people or something, or like the studio was like really like not a studio, like very like amateurish something. So okay. Like I think there's something to it. But
so not only the story was bad, the adaptation was bad. It was just kind of like a wreck.
It's just one of those things like you can't really like watch. Like it's really like incomprehensible. Like it's so tough to follow. Like not like that tough, but like I don't know. You're just watching it and it's like so perplexing as to how this thing came about.
Now, for viewers that, you know, might be wondering, like, when you say hard to follow, like, how is that, like, what's the distinction between that and, like, let's say, Serial Experiments Lane, or something that is, like, hard to follow, but, you know, actually is, like, thematically cohesive, or, you know, has...
Like, it doesn't feel like anything was done intentionally. Like, everything was accidental, and how they put it together. Like, you'll see it, like, I don't know, like...
I won't see it. I won't see it.
Yeah, I will not see, thank you.
Not with those rave reviews.
If I, like, link... You know, kind of like trying to think of like a good like, you know, those YouTube videos that are very like LOL XD random.
Yes.
But they like don't make sense. But like when you're 12, they're funny because it's like random shit going down. Yeah. It's like that, but they take it seriously and it's like an anime. So it's just like stuff is happening, but there's no rhyme or reason as to why it's happening.
I bet there's one guy in the audience that likes it and will stand up and be like, you know.
Yeah.
So is it fair to say this is probably in your bottom 100?
No, because I didn't finish it.
Oh.
If I finished it, it would definitely be bottom 100. But for context, it has a 3.81 Mal rating. So
okay, so it's already in Mal's bottom 100.
It's in Mal's bottom 100.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it. Everyone who completed it gave it a 1. One person gave it a 2.
Okay.
One person I know gave it a 5. That's generous. Okay.
Yeah.
Wild. Okay, wild. I found it. Okay.
Because this list that we're gonna go over later isn't all inclusive, like of every single anime we've watched. Because like we mentioned in the last podcast, it's completed series, so shows that you know you had the patience enough not to drop, and at least you know you can clearly say you gave it a fair shot.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this one quick thing up to you before it's brought up, and just get your take on it. What do you say to the people that are like, why would you spend time finishing something you don't like? You know those people, like when you say something's bad and then they're like, well, why did you finish watching it?
It depends what it is, but like, I don't know. A lot of it is inherent curiosity, you know, wanting to be part of the conversation and weigh in on it. Maybe you feel like the show presents some topics that you do want to tackle and you can't really be informed on it unless you watch the whole thing. Because then it's like, then if you try to speak up on it and you only watch 1 or 2 episodes, it's like you don't have the full
Yeah.
context, the full picture to be able to say anything.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's kind of whenever people say that, I don't really take it seriously because I think it's kind of like a criticism deflection, because you get the catch 22 of like, say I started a show and I didn't like the first couple episodes of it. I'll use Black Clover for an example because I just don't talk about Black Clover, but like, okay, I watched the first 10 episodes of Black Clover and I didn't really like it, but say I like stop it right now, like I don't watch more, and I say, hey, Black Clover is not good. You get two sides where it's like, okay, well, you didn't catch up, so you don't really know what happens in Black Clover, so you didn't give it a fair enough chance because there's like over 100 episodes. Okay, fair enough. Say I catch up to Black Clover and I still have the same opinion that it's not that good. The people, same, maybe not the exact same person, but in a similar sense, people will say, well, why did you spend that much time watching something you didn't like? And then you're in this catch-22 of like, if I don't give it a chance, my opinion doesn't count because I didn't give it a fair chance. But then if I do give it a chance, people think I'm just being a hater and I'm just watching it to like revel in the hate. And it's like, so you just can't have a negative opinion on it if that's what happens. Like,
it's a tough spot to be in because like other examples, like there are other shows that I was told like, hey, you won't enjoy this many episodes, or you have to get to this point until, it gets good. And I've done that a lot where I'll spend the time, having faith, taking a blind leap until it gets to that point. And who knows, maybe like when I get to that point, I still might not like it. And that might have been the same with Black Clover, for example. So you're kind of taking that person at their word and you're giving it that chance to hopefully like the point that they say that where it gets good. So
yeah, and for Black Clover, I just don't talk about it that much because I feel like I might get to it eventually. But like, I just don't talk about it because I do know I haven't seen that much of it. But I also do think it's like, I've been in the same spot with Gintama where it's like, if people do give it a fair chance, like you got to give them credit and be like, look, like you tried it out. It's not for you. It is what it is.
I'll give you a good example of this. Because there are some people that like kind of know like right off the bat, like when something's not for them, like they don't even need to watch that many episodes. Yeah. But like, there are not that many people like that, but there are a few. And my fiance is notorious for that. She knows like right off the bat when something's not for her. So she doesn't even spend the time like catching up or feel compelled if she just knows she doesn't like it. Yeah. I remember one time a long time ago, I was like, you know what? Watch all of Hunter x Hunter. Just watch all of it. Watch it and see how amazing it is. She watched all of it. And she was just like, eh.
And you're like, no.
I was like, I can't even say anything. You watched the whole thing. And
it's
like,
you gave it a fair shot. So like, what can you do?
Yeah. So,
Yeah. So I think, so with that said, it's kind of like, anyone's thinking like, okay, well, why did you watch this? Why did you watch this if you didn't like it? A lot of these shows I first off did not know I didn't like until I finished them, and second, I just had sunk cost fallacy where I watched so many episodes. I'm like, I'm gonna get through it one way or another, So like, that's my disclaimer for a lot of these is that like I was in too deep and I had to keep going, but So, but then I've also had series where like I was not fond of them at the beginning. And when I finished them, I had a greater appreciation for them than I did at the start. I'll bring it up when one of the series in a bit, but like if I just watched the first 2 episodes of it, I would have been like 2 out of 10, like one of the worst series I've seen. And then I finished it and I actually really liked one of the characters and I still thought the overall thing was like kind of bad, but like I thought of it like a lot more highly than I would have if I didn't finish it. So
yeah. That makes sense.
I have a few series like that. Yeah. So you never really know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to get into those examples later too, to help like cleanse, the ones that you didn't enjoy, and compare why one got better eventually and why one didn't. Only other series I have on here too is I think these are kind of obvious picks. Fireworks, which I always hear people don't like.
Always hear negative things about. And not a very good thing.
Netsuzo Trap, which I think
NTR Trap. That is that we might be seeing that one in a little bit. So that one is not iconic. It's like one of the anime shorts. So I think it's like 12 or 8-minute episodes, and it's like, oh, I actually have a really funny screenshot from it. I'll send it later. It's so funny. Yeah, I have thoughts on that. I'll get into that later. But I have seen that show. That's all you need to know for right now. I have seen that.
You saw it completely?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna ask you questions when we get to it.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. So, are you ready? Do you want to?
I'm ready. Are you
get
ready?
right into the bottom 100? I'm ready.
This is my bottom 100. Okay, so we're gonna start from the bottom because I think it'll be not so surprising because I've talked so much shit about these shows so much that I don't think it's a surprise. But I think some of the other ones will be kind of surprising.
Okay.
That's my
we got to start at the very bottom and work our way up towards the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. Which it might be more annoying because it's like, why are you putting it on this list with these other why is this like good show here compared to this other one? Okay. Shout out to Dice Ire. I've said that wrong all the time. Like I've consistently said that wrong every time. I don't care to learn the correct pronunciation until I read the visual novel. But this is just one of those cases where like I don't even hate this show so much. It was just like the worst production I've ever seen. Like, you know how I was talking about before about like incomprehensible, like intangible, illegible show, like not illegible, but like you just cannot follow it. This is like the best example because they really just like didn't have a story. I think they were just doing kind of like greatest hits from the visual novel and just adapting it like out of order for the fans.
So weird.
But they did it like badly.
So I only watched one episode of this actually when it first aired, and I like before the episode, like right before I watched it, I was seeing all this praise for like this amazing visual novel, this hype, this anticipation, and I'm like, oh, this looks like it's gonna be badass. And then I watched the first episode, and I had no idea how they adapted this, how they animated this, why this even existed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't continue. I don't know how you continued.
Yeah, because there was the like special before the anime. There was like a special.
Maybe that's what I watched.
The first episode. Yeah, I watched that too, and that was slightly better. I don't think I included it on this list, but I think I gave that a 3. It was not much better, but it was still better than this.
I watched something. I think I watched the first episode of either this or the special, but it was just like you said, incomprehensible. Just flashed through things. It didn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm sure the visual novel is better by default. I know a lot of people love it. I'm going to get to it eventually just to see because I'm so curious. Like, it's just like the worst thing I've seen. Like, I don't even have any hate in my heart saying it. Like, there's no gusto with me saying like, this is the worst thing of all time. It's just like more, it's more of an unfortunate thing. Like this, like it just crashed and burned. There was no positives to it. And I'm sure, Dies Irae, is that how I actually say it? I know it's like Latin or shit. I don't know. But,
I think so.
Yeah.
And I'm familiar with Latin and I still don't know.
Yeah. I know those fans probably hate it more than I do. So in a very equivalent exchange, perfectly balanced sense, my top one is a visual novel adaptation and my bottom one is a visual novel adaptation. So
that's like some poetic irony kind of thing.
Yeah.
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 So this is your 1 out of 10.
So I color coded this, and so over here you can see that's the score I gave it. So, but it's also color coded, so you'll be able to tell. So these are more 1 out of 10s. Shout out to Osama Game. I thought this is one of the shows that people had some fun with, but I hated it so much.
So what was so bad about this one? Like in a few words.
So it's like a death game, but like it's not actually a game. Like people just got text messages about how they were gonna die, and then they died. So I don't really get the appeal of it. Besides just like ridiculous, like, you know, tragedy porn.
But is that what made you hate it?
So it's both the combination of like I didn't have fun watching it and like what was happening on screen was just so bad. So I'm like,
that sounds like the reason of why I didn't like Junie Tyson.
Yeah,
because
Junie Tyson is a Shakespearean masterpiece compared to Osama Game. Like by default, like because Junie Tyson had Junie Tyson had a theme of like the Zodiacs. This doesn't have shit. They're just teenagers. So
makes sense. That's fair. I just meant like the whole knowing that these characters are gonna die. It just felt so choreographed that it was like, what's the appeal here? So
no, that's fair. You might see Junie Tyson on this list too. So I'm not going to bat that much. So
all right, let's go.
But yeah, so I feel you. This one is just so like whatever. And we got Citrus. So this is the Yuri anime where they do like romantic progression by like forcing each other to make out, which is like hot to some people, fair enough, but I think it was kind of bad. But the real reason it's a 1 out of 10 is because they're like freshmen in high school, and they introduce a girl who was like best friends with the main character in middle school, and she's like a year younger, and she tries to blackmail the girl's new girlfriend slash stepsister into prostitution. And I'm like, you are 14. So I was just like, okay, this is just ass.
I'm sure some people like that, in Citrus. They thought it was a good plot line.
Fair enough to everyone who finds it hot or whatever, but it's just like so bad, and I didn't find it funny.
I actually dropped this one. I didn't get past like episode 7. It was still at the point where I just couldn't stand the relationship between the two girls. It was just so toxic and frustrating and just uncompelling that I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, it was like, I just think it's just kind of bad, It's not fun. It wasn't fun bad, It was just bad.
Yeah, we'll get to fun bad.
We'll get there. So we got Guy Ray Zero. I have a funny story behind this. I won't go too much into all of these, but this one has a funny story. So
Guy Ray Zero is a prequel, right?
Yeah, they never. I don't think they ever adapted Guy Ray, just Guy Ray Zero.
Oh, okay.
But so Guy Ray Zero, the background on this show is that it came out, I think in like 2007 or something. I don't know. I don't care. It's old, but it's not that old, but it looks older than it is. So it got a lot of buzz for the first episode because they introduced a cast with like, they were the promo for everything. They did all the like advertising and stuff, and then they killed everyone off. So everyone's like, oh, it's such a great first episode. They killed everyone off. Like, these aren't the real characters. And then like they continued onward, and it still got just like worse. It's just like a really, really bad dynamic. I think they have like, it gets kind of weirdly rapey at times too. It wasn't fun.
How many episodes is it?
I think it's like 12.
Okay, so I need to ask, based on these bottom 4, what possessed you to finish these?
So funny you should mention.
Like it takes like an iron willpower.
So the other 3, I can't blame anyone but myself. This one is all Tay's fault because we had an anime contract and they thought this one was worth including along the likes of Hibike Euphonium, K-On!, like Tamako Market, all of like Kyoani's greatest hits, and then other ones like Gakko Garashi that people like. And then there's this one. So I watched we had like a big contract because I contracted them to watch Hunter x Hunter. They contracted me I guess, the same equivalent, but with other shows. And that's how I got through like most of Kyoani's catalog. But they included this one. And I'm going through, I enjoy most of what I'm watching. I start this after Gakko Garashi, another show that is known for a good first episode, but I actually like Gakko Garashi. So I'm like, oh, it's another one with a big first episode. Let's go. I went through, I'm like, Tay, this is like the worst thing I've ever seen. Like, this is just like absolutely god awful. Like, I remember it had like PS2 CGI in like 2007. It was so bad.
Oh my god. So wait, did they genuinely like this and recommend?
They have the Blu-ray
this?
for it.
They love it.
They have the Blu-ray and they liked it.
Like genuinely, like this wasn't like to just.
No, they thought it was good. Like,
to spite you.
Good. No, they weren't trying to fuck with me. They were like, yeah, no, this is good.
Wow.
I was like, what the fuck? I railed on it so hard that they went from rating it an 8 to a 5, and I was like they went back and changed their rating from 8 to 5.
Oh my god, you made them realize everything wrong with it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Tay, sponsor of the podcast. He's going.
Shout out to my 1 out of 10 list. Yeah. I was just like mind blown because it was like they weren't trolling. I was just like, this is just genuinely awful. Like, this has no redeeming qualities. Like, it's so bad. So I was like shocked. So this one, I had no choice. This was a contract, and this is like.
So I'm curious, and I don't want to spend too much more time on it, but were they able to at least let you see what they saw in it that was redeeming, or no? Like, this was just a black and white. Like, there's nothing good about this. I can't understand why you'd like it.
I could get it. I can kind of get it. Like, there's a lot of action, and I guess if you like the characters, you probably thought it was good, but I don't think it's I don't think there's enough there to really justify it. Like, some people are just like, oh yeah, I watched it and it was whatever. I think most normal people would give it a 5 or a 4. I've seen some 7s, but I don't think many people are like, yeah, this is it. This is peak anime. So I think my hatred is justified, but it's definitely a shock horror hatred classic. So definitely all me.
I'm curious to get to one where you feel like your hatred isn't justified. So let's
We might get to that.
Put a pin in that.
Put a pin. Okay. Then we got Pancreas,
Ooh.
the classic. Shout out to my Pancreas partners. Yeah, everyone knows we did a podcast on it. But
yeah, refer to that.
refer to our podcast. Refer to Onimar's background. Everyone knows why I don't like Pancreas. If you like Pancreas, fine. I don't. And
We don't.
We don't. We hate your Pancreas.
Just Weebs core hate.
Just Weebs core. Very, very podcast core. Then we get Mirai Nikki. This is probably.
I still want to watch this. Like, I've heard it's bad.
Yeah.
I still want to watch it. I don't know why.
This one, I definitely have the least amount of hatred for. I think there were some like redeeming qualities when I look back on it. But then I think to other aspects of it, and I'm like, yeah, that was just like really fucking stupid. Like really, really dumb.
I heard it was just the ending that was bad.
No.
Like that was really bad.
Unfortunately, no.
No?
So it's another one where there's like a lot of crazy shit going down, and I didn't find it that fun. But I think there were like certain points where it could have been like better. Like there was hope for Mirai Nikki, but I don't think they achieved it. But the grand thing is like the grand turning point, straw that broke the camel's back, is when he essentially, I don't want to spoil it actually. I don't want to say it.
It's fine. But yeah, I think to be honest, the reason why I'm curious to watch it is because it's such a meme. Like, I don't know. It's sort of like similar to our conversation earlier about like, why would you watch it if you know you're not going to like it? It's like, but I want to understand.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to know.
And I think Yuno is a cool concept. OG Yandere, very iconic. I think she's an interesting concept. I think they did pretty okay with her. So I have positive things to say about her for the most part, but they also like squandered her a bit. But the real thing is like the main character sucks. They were blatantly going for a Shinji type character to the point where they have a Karu equivalent with the same voice actor and same character design. So like, like mask off. They're trying to do an Eva thing, but they're not really pulling off the Eva thing. So, not good.
Yeah. All right, but and this is also one of those, I guess most people have this really low, right?
Yeah, I think most.
Yeah.
Unless you're Maz. Shout out to Maz. It's one of his 10s. He loves Mirai Nikki.
He genuinely loves it. And have you had a conversation with him about why?
Yeah, I think he's explained it. I just respect Maz, but I forget everything we said. I just respect Maz loving it so much because I don't actually hate it that much. So I'm just like, you do you, Maz. Like, have it as your 10. Love that for you.
She doesn't hate it that much. It's at 95, guys.
Yeah, it's at 95. 95 score.
I don't hate it. It's still 95 though.
Yeah, it's like it's a 1. It's my top one. Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
Keep going. Now we're in the 2s.
Making our way up.
Making our way. The bread is getting lost harsh. So this one, not too much to say. It's like a bad dating sim adaptation. Just not good.
Skip.
Sword Art Online, Alicization, War of the Underworld 2. So this is the last season of SAO that came out where they did an Avengers-like callback to every bad SAO villain who go around and try and like sexually assault all of the main SAO females. So it's kind of like a tour de force of everything wrong with SAO in 11 episodes.
And that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy because I heard that the author was trying to make amends and trying to better his writing with the subsequent volumes.
I heard it's not his fault. I heard they just went anime original on it for a lot of it. I heard they just went off the rails. So
the Game of Thrones did,
They really did.
Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, I only I watched like 10 episodes of Alicization.
Yeah.
Never watched the rest. I think I caught an episode in the second half of Alicization. Yeah. Then my fiance was watching War of Underworld. I ended up watching the last episode with her. I was like, I was just like, that's all I know.
It's like, here we are again. I don't know. SAO has we'll see. I've given SAO everything from a 6 to a 2 now. So like, I'm so done. I'm so done with SAO.
But like, what was so was it what you just said that made it a 2 or?
What was going steadily downhill from like season 1 of this, but then this was just like not good. It was just like, oh, this is the other thing that like cracks me up. So you remember like, so they're in a video game, but like it's not like season 1 where anyone's life is at stake except for Kirito because of like the Flucklight soul business. I don't care. That's whatever science. I don't care. So his friends are in like a fucking gaming server, and they're giving inspirational speeches to all of these gamers across the world about why they should join this game and battle for them. But it's like a typical like shonen like save the world kind of speech. But I'm like, why the fuck would anyone do this? They're in a video game. Like, imagine you're rolling up to like a Call of Duty server and you give some speech and like people actually do it instead of being like L plus ratio plus like racial slur, like get the fuck off. Like that's like the environment they're in. And I'm like, the fuck? Like no one's gonna die from this. This is ridiculous. So something like that just was really funny.
So why did you watch all of this? Because this is like
this with some friends because
okay,
my friend said it was good. My friend read the LNs for the light novels for Alicization, and they're like, nah, Alicization, this is where it gets good. So this was a friend group watch, and they had not seen this part, and then they were like, yeah, this is some mad ass. So even they were like, not in.
Okay, all right, yeah. No, it sounds like it really fell apart there.
Yeah, it was not good. Even SAO fans are like, nah, this is ass. So
yeah, I mean, everyone's excited for Progressive, so hopefully that makes up for it.
Hopefully. This one, Hanetsu Trash, it's like a random ecchi OVA. It has trash in the title, you know. NTR Trap. I didn't want to look up the full name. It's just NTR Netsuzo Trap. So this is the short Yuri series that it's like these two girls with their boyfriends, and then like one of the couples is like in an abusive relationship. The other one is in like kind of a wholesome relationship, but the girls are in love with each other. So they're like cheating on their boyfriends.
But isn't this similar to Scum's Wish?
No, that's mean to Scum's Wish. Like,
okay. Because I thought those were like sort of like similar. I always heard those two.
No, but there was a really fun. Okay, I got it. Let's go. Okay. The reason this isn't lower because there are like genuinely no redeeming qualities for this. But I found this one. I took this one screenshot. This is like the abusive boyfriend. Is it showing up?
Yes.
So like
that's a line.
This is a line, and then at some point he's like taking a picture of the girls like hooking up, and he's trying to extort them into a threesome or just blackmail them. And then that's where like this conversation comes from. And it's like this the funniest, like most absurd thing to come from this show. So I have this saved on my Mal next to this one in the tags because I'm like, I needed to harken back to this.
This is very telling when the guy is he the main guy?
No, he's like so it's like the girl and the girl, it's like the girl in the wholesome relationship and the girl she's in love with abusive boyfriend because he's abusing the girl too. So he's like beating the shit out of her and then he says this shit.
Yeah, I hate girls, but I like sex. Okay.
Yeah, so you know.
So wait, so basically like so what is there any value to this show? Because is it just watching these girls get abused by this guy?
Well, I don't know if he got to the point of abusing the other one. I don't know. I don't think so. I think they're going to fight back. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. But this, like, cracked me up so much. So I'm like, nah, it's a 2. It's a 2 because the screenshot exists.
Oh, my God.
So this is the quality of the show. It's not good.
How did it have a, I guess the ending didn't make up for it.
I don't think they had an ending. I think it's like an open ending, you know? Okay. The adventure continues.
Is this based on source material?
It might be. I think it might be. I'll look into it. I'll see how it ends. They'll probably end up together and this guy will be in jail or something. I don't know.
Have you met anyone that like genuinely really likes it?
I think I have, unfortunately. I think I know, but like I haven't talked to them about it because I think the context was like they didn't like bloom into you, but they loved this show. Oh. And I'm like, that's homophobic. And
oh my God.
Like, excuse me, that's offensive.
A little offensive, but okay. Interesting.
They're like,
but did you ask them like what they liked about this over Bloom Into You?
No, because I didn't get to talk to them about it. I just heard someone say it. No, It might have not been this. It might have been Citrus. Either or, you know, they're interchangeable.
I mean, Citrus is lower than this, so. Yeah,
it doesn't have the screenshot, which is like it does not have this.
This is peak.
Yeah, this is peak character writing. And the funniest part, he has like a Jotaro's voice actor. So
okay.
Oh no, like one of the best voice actors. He's saying this shit, and you're like, oh, okay, how did he get cast in this?
There you go.
Yeah, I didn't find out why the other person didn't like have that opinion. I'm gonna do the research though.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to hear the follow up. Here we are. Promise Neverland season 2.
I like pretending it doesn't exist, but I'm just gonna. Everyone
we can just
knows
do that.
why.
We can just pretend it doesn't exist. Skip over it.
Okay, so I'm gonna have 5 entries here that are from the Code Geass Akito's bullshit series. They're like 5 Code Geass movies. Lelouch and Suzaku are background characters. That's kind of all you need to know. I don't remember anything that happens in these, but some of them are worse than others, but they're all bad movies.
I think I only watched 3 of them and 4 never came out or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. And I still didn't really, the appeal was waiting for Lelouch to appear or something, you know, and then, But what did you hate about them? I guess you don't remember that enough.
I don't remember anything. I think the characters were bad and I didn't give a shit. I think that's it. But this one I remember, I think they just yelled Shine a lot. Like they kept yelling about like killing people. Because my friends and I were memeing this. This was another friend group watch. But I genuinely don't remember anything about these movies. So I don't remember.
Do you feel like it's easier to like trash a show when you're doing it in a group watch?
I think so, yeah. But this also the same group watch. When we were watching SAO, we got to Mother's Rosario and we all really liked it. And that like, I think the group watch was like, wait a minute, no, like we like this. This is really good. But I do think if it's like, it's definitely easier to trash stuff in a group watch. Like, I don't think I've watched a show. I don't think I've done a group watch for shows that like, I don't know, like that I was really anticipating, you know? I'm not going to watch Legends of the Galactic Heroes.
Oh, you plan to? Or you don't?
No, I won't do that.
Oh, yeah. No, that makes sense. Like, I love group watches, but I have heard people say, like, oh, you can't, like, trust your, you know, perception just based on a group watch if you didn't watch it on your own. So I was, like, curious about that.
Yeah, I think I've had, like, a group watch where it's just, like, me and another person, and we watched Utena. I think that was, like, the best show I've group watched.
Okay.
Yeah. But so, yeah, no Code Geass Akito commentary. I'm sorry, mailing it in. Eromanga Sensei, this isn't here for the incest. It's here for how boring it was. That's my tea on Eromanga Sensei. It's a boring show, which is
strangely enough, I found it fun.
I'm not surprised, Giga Simp.
I mean, I think I still gave it a 4 because I do genuinely think it's bad, but I'm like, I didn't find it boring.
I listened to the entire like the Beatrice back when Trixie was Digibro and Best Guy Ever did podcasts on Eromanga Sensei for each episode, and they were like reacting to it. I thought it would be like really funny, like so bad it's good funny. And then when I watched it, I'm like, no, this is just like really boring. Like he's not gonna get it with his sister. He's not gonna get the other girl who's annoying. Like nothing's gonna happen. So
I mean, that was obvious from the outset. The author already peaked with Oremo.
I gotta see that. I'm just building up to Oremo.
He committed with that one.
Yeah,
but like, not enough. You don't think he'll get with his sister? Oh, he will.
Yeah. But yeah, it was just kind of boring. So that's why it's really here. Not for a good reason, just because it's boring.
I mean, that's I think enough to this is pretty much you're saying Eromanga Sensei is the most boring show you've ever seen because it's the only show that's in your bottom 100 that is because of the reason that it's boring.
Yeah. Well, I might have a few more boring ones, but it's definitely because it's boring. Like, it was very boring. And then, like, nothing else was really redeeming. So I was like, okay, boring. Galilei Donna, this was back when I was on Reddit, there was this one thread where it was like, instead of a contract for good shows, you do a contract for bad shows. So they had this whole spreadsheet where, like, you submit the worst show you've seen, and then, like, they kind of paired everyone up randomly. So I got this. I don't really hate it that much, but it was a very nonsensical, weird show that probably wasn't good.
I only watched like I think an episode or 2 of this in like the season that it aired, and I thought it would have just end up being like a standard seasonal fare, like a 5 probably, but
I don't know. I think I might have gone a bit too hard on this one. I don't think it would be that much better, but because it's definitely not a good show.
I didn't finish it, but it did seem very to me from outset seemed very forgettable. So
yeah, it was just kind of whatever. Sometimes not with a bang, but with a whimper. Dead Man Wonderland. I think the show is bad, but more importantly, I think the opening is really good. And
the opening's great.
I love the opening. It brings out the inner Hot Topic in me. Like with the one line is like slit the throat of reason and reality. That's like a 10 out of 10 line. I don't care.
There you go. Hot Topic.
I am Hot Topic, and I love it.
I actually liked the anime. It got me to read the manga. So
I heard that one's a lot better. So I gotta get to that.
I mean, it's just gory, but it's good. I like it.
I feel like it's just like classic edgy, but like I don't know. I can respect some of it.
But why did you like? What made you like? Because it's a 2 on your list. Like, what made you hate it?
I just think there's like nothing really good about it. Like, it wasn't really good. Like, and the anime doesn't really look that good. It didn't really get to that much content. So like, it's another case where like you don't really see the payoff to anything. You just see a bunch of characters kind of like doing things that like will probably eventually make sense for their characters, but in the meantime, it's just like them fighting against each other, and it doesn't look that good. And I didn't think the characters were that great. Like, some showed to have potential, but like the potential we didn't get to see in like those 12, 13 episodes, you know?
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, because it isn't incomplete at all. So
there's a lot of cases where it's like not a complete adaptation, and you can tell that like in the full scope of things, they probably would have gotten better, but you don't get to see that, and you're not super inspired to see it because like the adaptation's not good, which is probably this case.
While I was watching it, I think everyone was just telling me like, oh, you should just watch Gantz, you know?
Yeah.
They were just like, yeah.
If
Mal gave
I might
it
read the manga one day,
7.
maybe.
Mal gave it a 7.
Oh, that's not bad. I like the opening. I think I have it like high up. So
that's why it's not a 1. That's because of the opening.
Yeah. And then I got Isekai Shokudo. So this might be a hot take. This is that Isekai diner show where they're like have different Isekai type like fantasy characters that just come into the diner and they just cook them random things, and you get these kind of like, you know,
this is Restaurant to Another World. Okay.
Yeah. Where they just have these kind of like random like, I don't know, like backstories for like these characters that you're never really going to see again. I think this is the most boring show I've seen. Like, and
also, I guess, is it considered your least favorite isekai? The worst isekai you've watched?
Yeah, it might be.
Because if it's at the bottom.
Because it doesn't really need to be an isekai. And I'm not holding the isekai-ness against it. I just think it's like really boring and bad. Like, I watched this when it came out seasonally, and like I don't think anyone else like hated it, but I was just like, this was definitely like the biggest waste of time. Like, I got nothing.
Why did you watch it for a whole season? What made you not drop it?
The seasonal grind.
Okay, that's just you.
That's my fault.
That's just you committing. Like, was it like a lunchtime anime? Is that why? Like, you were eating and watching it?
Yeah, I think it was like when I'm doing the seasonal impressions and seasonal retrospectives with like the Tokyo Podfather gang. I was like, well, it's on my list. I watched 3 episodes, gotta finish it. Because I do like finishing things just for the sake, because if it's like, I don't want to drop things if I've already gotten the episodes, but it's like the sunk cost fallacy of like, no. And
I mean, I feel like if oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I had nothing.
Like, I feel like if you're not having a good time watching it and you feel like you could be doing something better, it's like, that's tough. Like,
well, it's weird. It was weirdly like not overtly offensive until I looked back on it, and I was like, I literally don't like anything about this, and it was very boring. So
you didn't realize till like afterward.
Yeah, possibly. I was like, you know, on normal circumstances, I could give this like a 5 or a 4, but like my 5s and 4s actually have things I like about them. I don't like anything about this, so
it's a good point.
Yeah, that's a big thing for me. Is it's like I have some 5s and 4s where I genuinely really like certain aspects, but they got hindered in certain ways that I can't look past. But a lot of these shows, despite the ones I have like extreme hatred for, it's more of like the absence of good rather than the like, you know, being full of bad, so to speak.
Yeah,
you know,
makes sense. Did the Podfathers enjoy the show?
I don't think they did either. I don't know if they finished it. Gotcha. I don't know if anyone finished this in our
Except
podcast.
You.
Hold on, I'm looking it up. I'm so curious.
Except you.
I might have been but I think it's like, I feel like Panic probably finished it. I bet Panic liked it. I don't know, because people are like, I think a lot of slice of life people like this show because it is like a slice of life, but like it's definitely not the best slice of life. Like, it's very mediocre in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like to me, like, I don't know, they've slapped on Another World to a lot of isekai titles where it's like Smartphone in Another World, Restaurant in Another World, and it just doesn't seem like it's going to be something compelling, you know?
Okay, Maz gave it a 4, and then Panic gave it a 6. I think most people gave it a 6 because they're like, oh, it's not offensive. Except me. I was offended at the waste of time.
Mal gave it a 7. 7, 7, 8. Someone gave it a 9, but overall 7.
Yeah, so it's just like whatever. This is my hill to die on. It was boring and not good. We got Jose Titora, everyone's second favorite Pancreas film. It's
above Pancreas.
It is above Pancreas. I have to give credit to Bones production for the character designs and for occasionally looking pretty good. So
it's only marginally better than Pancreas because
I think the content is like not like good. Like,
it's only because of the character designs. That's what saved it from being lower.
I gotta confess, I was in a moral quandary because I think Jose Tutora made me appreciate Pancreas more.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Because it's just so obviously like yes, offense. I don't care. I feel like it's like an amalgamation of every popular melodramatic anime film of the past couple years. Like this feels like they took Your Name, A Silent Voice, Pancreas, all of those individual films and tried to put it together to this. Like they tried to, it's like the formula meme. Like, look, we have created, tier bait.
A pastiche of all of them.
Yeah, but I
the
felt
ultimate form. It's actually an 8.51 on Mal, which is only like 0.5 below Pancreas. So it's up there.
It's getting close. So I don't know. People are a sucker for these kinds of like romance dramas. It's not really a tragedy. But what really is bad about this one is they're in college, so they have no excuse for this shit. They sound like straight middle schoolers, and that's really bad. It's really just like the dialogue is like some of the worst of all time.
Gotcha. Okay.
Like there's one line, I remember pointing it out, where like, so he's got like, don't worry about the context too much. So the guy is coming to the girl in the wheelchair in her grandma's place because he like helped her up. He helped her up, like he saved her after she fell over, helped her up, and then the grandma invites him in for like dinner as like thanks. The grandma asks him a question, he answers it, and then Jose says, "Nobody asked."
Oh my God.
Like she literally
I think I saw
asked.
you tweet about this.
Yeah. I was so frustrated because it's like, but they literally just asked. Like no one likes when you say like no one asked when like they did ask. Like it's right there. It's so frustrating. Like why would you say that? Why would that be a line? Like they literally did that. Find a better insult.
It sounds like something that hit you to your core.
I think like there was probably no coming back from that, to be honest. But yeah. I was like, but it really like, I'm not like, a super, I don't need every form of dialogue to be the most realistic ever, but like when it's so overtly bad like that, I'm like, okay.
Was everything after that, like was all of the other dialogue similarly bad, or was it really just that was the most egregious example?
That one stands out. I mean, there was other bad ones, but like nothing was that egregious. I think she called him her servant for most of the series, and then when they had like a cute confession scene, she also called him a servant, and I didn't find that like a cute callback. I don't think that's like a cute like shout out, like not a cute nickname. So
yeah, got it.
I don't know. Not good.
Well, I know I'm not watching it.
I'm sorry, I got you covered. Don Machi.
Don Machi. Okay.
Don Machi is here because
you watched the whole first season, I imagine, not the second season.
No. Don Machi offends me because I love Greek mythology more than anything, and it makes Greek mythology boring. So, grave.
I did enjoy the callbacks to Greek mythology. They just didn't do anything great with it.
That's why I'm like, so this could be better, but you guys are ruining it with anime bullshit. Like, utilize the Greek mythology. Like, do something fun, but they didn't. So.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a harem.
Whatever.
With some action.
They had the best source material, Greek mythology, and they fucked it up. Sad
I mean, season 2 was looking to be fun, and then I was checking it out, and then they kind of ruined it like halfway through, and I was like, okay, I've lost all hope. Done.
Yeah. It's just kind of whatever. We got Dive. It's like a free knockoff, but looks bad, is bad. I guess worst sports anime I've seen. Shout out. Another seasonal grind. Snarling in the
I was waiting for this one.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm surprised I don't have it lower, but I did like 2 episodes. So.
Wait, let me guess. Episode 15.
Yes.
And episode 14.
No, that's each one.
Hold on.
What's the backstory? It might be like 8 or something. It's the one where the annoying kid gets lost in the city. I like that episode, and I like the backstory episode.
Okay. All right. I think I know which one that is. Where they go through Zero Two's backstory, or
yes, I think that was really well done. They did good with that. And then I respect the episode that follows it for the drama of like the betrayal. I respect it. It wasn't like it didn't really lead to. It was whatever, but I respect the move. But it was not good. I'm not trying to brag. I was a trendsetter. I never thought that Darling in the Franxx fell off because I never enjoyed it. So I am consistent.
Let's see. I mean, Mal actually has it surprisingly at 7.25.
7.2. That's kind of wild. It went down that much, but
yeah, because like Pancreas and Jose are still higher, so I imagine Darling in the Franxx would be somewhere up there. But maybe it got review bombed.
It probably did. Sad. The Bunny Girl movie, another hot take. The Bunny Girl movie made me retroactively appreciate Haruhi of Disappearance. So I do appreciate it for that, but I don't like it. I think it looks bad, and the story was kind of bad, and I don't care about it. Okay.
Sad. I did think it was much more convoluted than the series, because I really did enjoy the series. Movie was like, I don't know.
Yeah, this one was like, this was not the sequel or follow-up I wanted. Because I don't really give a shit about that one girl. Like the new girl who they're like, oh, like she died and then like he's going to sacrifice himself for her. Because,
the one that he always like was mentioning in the first series. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know if I would give it a 3, but I definitely would. It's not going to be high on my list. I just don't know if it would be that low for me.
And join the dark side. Join the evil side.
We'll see.
The 3 out of 10s are fun. Code Geass movie. I'm skipping these. I don't remember.
Index
is like, it's so frustrating because I know that they're just like not getting good adaptations. But I don't want to read the light novels because I tried reading the first light novel and it's either a translation or the actual writing is just like really like kind of bad. So
I'm surprised you got through 2 seasons if you're not even enjoying it. But
so again, I really like I love Mikasa. I love Mikasa. I wanted to see Accelerator do the thing. Yeah, Misaka. Yeah. But yeah, I don't like Mikasa. I like Mikasa. Don't get me Attack on Titan fans. I love Misaka. Sorry. But okay, yeah, no.
You can't equate them.
Yeah. No. And then
I'm the one committing heresy here because I was watching Railgun and I'm just skipping Index. So
I think that's fair though. Don't let them know. Yeah. And I like the Accelerator scene. They have a really cool scene. I think this one, Index 2 is tough because like the majority of it was like usual stuff that I don't care about because they didn't do a good job. But then there's like they sprinkle it in with like cool small arcs, and that's like how they get you with Index. Like, oh, Accelerator does a cool thing. Okay, I guess I'm gonna watch it. Or like, Misaka Mikoto's friend has a cool arc. I forget her name. She had a cool arc in this that was really cool. And that happened later on. So that's how they get me. So
just YouTube the scenes.
I did, but I wanted to like see them in their
see them in context. Yeah.
Hunter x Hunter the second movie. I forget.
This is unanimously hated, right? This one.
I hope so. Not enough though. This is the last mission. Also, more like my last brain cell when watching this movie. This is and you want to know, like, it's actually like kind of cool this movie exists in a weird way because this is how Hunter x Hunter haters view the main series. Like, this is how they think of the original series, and you watch this and you're like, okay, I feel empathetic, like I get it now. So it's that bad.
Wait a second. So how Hunter x Hunter haters view the 2011 series, or
This is what I say. Like, if you want to know, like, how, like, this movie is so bad and it does everything, like, so terribly. Like, you watch this movie and you're like, oh, you're like, okay, this is how Hunter x Hunter haters, like, the people who hate the Hunter x Hunter main series, this is how they view the main series. But they're so fundamentally different that you're like, okay, this is just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, would that would work if, this movie is supposed to be, like a caricature of what the series actually is.
But it's not intentional. Like they think that this is just like an anime.
No, I know. But like, is that what it ends up being? That you're able to kind of get like, oh, okay, that's how they see the series surface level. That's why they hate it.
Yeah, this is how like I view. Yeah, this is where I'm like, okay, Hunter x Hunter haters, they just view the main series as this, where it's like fights are dumb, convoluted power system, really generic stuff, like just absolute like mindless bullshit. And I'm like, oh, it makes sense now.
Makes so much sense.
Makes so much
Yeah, not gonna watch it. Oh, Fate Apocrypha.
Fate Apocrypha, shout out. If anyone asks you what is sound design, you can point to Fate Apocrypha and say this is bad sound design. Shout out. Love that. Shield Hero. Yeah.
Which I didn't even finish, so.
And I'm the true isekai warrior over here finishing.
I think you are.
I think I'm an isekai fan. So I didn't hate the beginning of Shield Hero. I liked the premise. I think it actually kind of works, that idea of like being ostracized by a society, but then still like being forced to fight for them, and then like forming that really tense relationship. But like it just gets so boring halfway through. The cast is bad. They make everyone else dumber for the main guy to be smarter. It's just very bad. Very disappointing too. I did get I got the appeal, and I think they just kind of made it like very boring and generic.
Yeah, with the execution. I heard that like through the second half, it just kind of becomes a little aimless, or the pacing's not great.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, just kind of bad. Cabinary of the Iron Fortress. Shout out to Biba, bad villain. Beginning of this was so cool too, and then it got so bad.
Yeah, the first few episodes were awesome. I watched all of this, and I don't know, just it kind of fell apart.
It's just, yeah, it was tragic. You might as well just call this whole list Boulevard of Fallen Dreams of Seasonals. That's just half of this list. Seasonals gone wrong. Drifters.
This is the one from the Helsing author, right?
I think so, yeah. They made their own studio for this, and it was pretty bad. Like probably the worst comedy I've seen, like very bad comedy, but the opening is really good. So what
made it bad comedy?
It's like this weird, like very weird chibi like comedy that's not it's not like fluid, like it'll be like stop joke, like stop, like very weirdly paced. And I think the actual like characters were like whatever, but the concept was kind of cool. I'll give the concept cool. It's like all of these like it's kind of like Fate Grand Order, where they get all the different like historical figures, but they're in like one like fantasy location.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, but it was still kind of whatever. I like the opening a lot though, so that's a banger. Black Fox, this is one of those like Sakuga showcases where it's like story characters bad, but it looks cool, but like not cool enough.
I don't know. I didn't mind Black Fox that much. I think I gave it like a 5. I was like very like, it was cute,
yeah.
And the designs were cool, but I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I think I just got bored with it, and I was like, okay, lame. Agretzko season 4.
Ooh,
I talked about
3.
this on Tokyo Podfathers just recorded an Agretzko episode. I will link it below. You can hear all our thoughts on it, but I will not spoil it. But yeah, Agretzko fell off, and it's tragic.
We blame Haida. Haida ruined
blame
it.
Haida.
Blame Haida.
Haida character assassination arc. I love Haida, but now it's over.
I loved Haida before this season.
Yeah, but I can't blame him. It's the writers. They hate him. Conception is the funniest show I've seen. So this is like definitely like a porn game adaptation, but they cut out the porn. But it's essentially like this dude has to go around and hook up with girls to like, I think, repopulate their world. It's like a very common thing. I forget. It's a very common like porn game thing.
So it's actually not a porn game, because my fiance played the game. She owned the game and she played it, and it was just a regular game for like the DS or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, they ported it. I mean, maybe it was originally maybe it was a port that was like there was a.
But they
version.
like have to have sex, like.
They do, but I think it's like implied. Like it's not like.
Yeah.
Gratuitous, I think.
Okay.
But it is like cringy because of the concept.
Yeah. Because they do. Yeah, I'm looking it up now. You have to hook up with the Star Maidens and have star children. Like,
and then you have your children fight for you.
Yeah. And there's like a raccoon mascot who's not actually a raccoon. They're what's it called? Like it's not an actual raccoon, but I called it a raccoon, and I don't care. This came out the same year as Shield Hero, and I said this one has the better raccoon character. Neither which are raccoons, but I still call them raccoons. He hooks up with the fucking raccoon in the show. Like, which was like the funniest plot twist. Like the way they phrase it is like the funniest shit. So once again, I got like added a point to the show.
Yeah, that was enough to make it a 3. He hooks up the raccoon.
I literally have in my mouth, this would be a 2, but he fucks the raccoon.
Oh my God.
Not a raccoon.
So, I don't even want to ask how you watched all of this. Like, what?
This is for Panic. Panic did a whole series on it. Panic did their own podcast on it, and it was really funny.
So I just need to bully you more into watching what I want you to watch. So there you go. I will keep this in mind.
If we do a series on it, watch the Panic series. I'm gonna link it. That me and Sinris appeared on the one episode where he fucks the raccoon, and we were just laughing the whole time at how ridiculous this was. But yeah, shout out to Conception, best of all time.
Best to ever do it.
Now we're into the 4 out of 10s. Isekai Quartet, very bad parody series. Like, just not funny. There's so many.
Wait, does this go up to what? 5 or 4?
Yeah, got up to my 5s.
Oh, okay.
Sad.
Interesting.
Need more 4s. Need to hate more. So yeah, this is the bottom of the 4s, and 4s are considered bad. 3s were very bad. 2s are awful. 1s are abomination. So we're at the bottom of the bad. Isekai Quartet, there's so much material that they could have utilized that they did not. So it's not good.
So did you watch Isekai Quartet because, and I know I've just realized I'm constantly doing the same thing we talked about before this. Like, if you don't enjoy it, why are you watching it?
It was like a seasonal. It was a short. It was easy to watch.
But like, did you watch all of the isekais that were featured in it? Or
I've seen all of them except the Tanya show.
Gotcha. For me, it was I hadn't watched Overlord. Yeah. And I think one other show, and I don't know. I watched an episode. I was like, I'm good.
Yeah, I think it's just so tough. Like, you have Carnival Phantasm, which I think is the best parody series of its own material. Like, Carnival Phantasm is just hysterical, and this one was just like not really like utilizing the like jokes that were right there, and it was sad. So, not good. This was like a random seasonal. I forget what this is like. Even fucking called. What is this, like the stupid what is this called, like monsters and shit, to the abandoned sacred beasts. It's like a like Civil War setting, which looked kind of cool, but then they just turn into like really badly made monsters. So it was a bad seasonal that could have been cool. I thought it might have been interesting, but it was not.
Never heard of this.
Yeah, I don't even remember it.
Oh, didn't you just recommend Thunderbolt, the film?
The first one was so good.
Or first season. Was it a season or a film?
Film. They also have like 4 episode OVAs. So this is like 4 episode OVA follow up. Yeah, it was just bad. Not good. Sad. No Game No Life 0. I didn't like it. Did people like this one?
Thinking of checking that out once. I never did because it was like on Amazon, and people were saying it was actually really good.
People like it, but I feel
like than the series.
Okay. So
or maybe it was the animation that was like people were raving about. Okay.
Might have been both.
It has an 8.23. Hold on. No Game No Life itself has an 8.12. So actually people consider it better than the series.
Yeah, that's dumb. I mean, sorry, no offense if they like it. But it's like, so the original series, I actually like No Game No Life a decent amount because I like how it's lighthearted and they have the game sense of fighting. Like, they don't physically fight. They like fight through games, which is like a cool concept. It's really
colorful.
Has
a good OP, right?
Yeah, one would say the best OP. One.
Exactly.
But this one is just like a very serious take where they're just like physically fighting, and I think that's just really kind of lame and boring, especially compared to the like actual main series. You know, it was kind of like taking all the cool aspects of the main series and making something pretty boring and not like interesting, even though the visuals were cool.
So, question: why do you think people that liked it did like it so much? That missed for you?
I think so. I think it's the natural like sequel bias effect. So like the people who didn't like No Game No Life aren't going to watch this movie.
Well, this is a prequel.
Well, yeah, but they're not going to. If you didn't watch No Game No Life the series, they're not going to watch this movie because they don't like No Game No Life. And then I think some people like the animation a lot, and they might just be like, "Oh, I'm just excited for more of the content." But I don't think most people who like No Game No Life would. I don't know. I can't see people like seriously liking the movie more than it. I don't know. I just can't see it. Even if the numbers speak it, I can't see people like the average fan being like, yeah, No Game No Life 0, definitely better than No Game No Life.
Yeah. Okay.
I just can't see it.
I just wanted to understand. But it sounds like your problem with it is more on a conceptual level. So
yeah, it's just the tone is not the tone and the like story. I didn't vibe with it because it's just not why I like No Game No Life.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Sad.
Sad day.
Room. This is like the weird like. It's funny, but it's like not good. But it's like the point of view shot. Like there's like the dude interacting with multiple girls, and like the he talks to like 3 girls, and they each have their like character arc. I guess I forget what it's called.
I'm looking it up now.
It's like a dating sim, but like
it has a 5 on Mal.
Yeah, they don't even have like the guy. It's just him talking to people. This is one of those things where like it probably should be lower, but it was actually kind of funny. So. It's 4.
Interesting. This one apparently is 4 minutes per episode, so fittingly it is a 4.
Yeah, so it's a 4.
It's a short one.
They score themselves. Yeah, not much to say though. Go First Order. This was like a movie introduction to Fate Grand Order. I don't remember anything that happened, and I don't play the gacha game.
All right.
Nothing to say.
I think this one explains itself since you explained it with season 2. Let's keep moving up. Okay, Index season 1. Yeah. Interesting.
People like this show. I don't know why. It doesn't look good.
All right, wait. Okay, why do you think people like it, and why do you hate it?
So it looks bad, and I don't think the characters are good, and I don't think it. Here's what it is. I remember what I said. I was watching this with a friend. It is like. It's kind of like this very weird mix in tones between Kuroko no Basket and Haikyuu, but like it doesn't accomplish either. So Kuroko no Basket is very over the top, very like, larger than life, flamboyant, not flamboyant, but like it's not realistic. It's not a realistic portrayal of the sport.
Yeah, it's not slam dunk.
It's not slam dunk. You don't expect that. So I'm fine with that because they were never trying for that. But then you get Haikyuu, which is a very grounded, more realistic take on the sports approach. So very different tonalities. This one has like a weird mixture of both, but neither of them work because they'll have dudes do like very ridiculous bicycle shit, and they don't make biking interesting. And at first, I would say, well, how do you make biking interesting? But Run with the Wind made running interesting, and I hate running. So if you can make running and competitive poetry slapping interesting, I think you can make biking interesting. So I think it just fails like as a sports anime because it doesn't make the subject matter interesting for me. And I don't like the characters.
That's actually a very good point. I think that's very well put because that's the big thing of what makes sports anime so good. It's like you have to make the sports interesting to people that most likely would probably never play it. Like I probably would never get into half the sports anime that I'm watching, but it makes me so invested. Like Run with the Wind was so good.
Yeah, and it's like we see so many obscure topics explored in anime that they make them interesting. So I don't think it's impossible to make biking interesting. And I don't think they did a good job with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then 7 Deadly Sins, which I'm not surprised about.
Yeah, it's just kind of bad. I don't know. I never thought it was good. I like Bon, and I liked King and his backstory episode, and that's kind of it. And I think that's kind of it.
Yeah, Bon's the man. Everything else,
meh. Colorful the movie. This is a movie some people like. I think it's really bad. It's probably one of the few movies I've seen that has that can say that the plot twist actually makes it worse. So
this movie, I think I wanted to watch it as a kid. Like I remember when like it was out on DVD and I was trying to find it at a Suncoast and I wanted to watch it and I never found it. And I'm still to this day curious about like what it was like. So there you go.
It's like, it was so annoying because I enjoyed 80% of it. And then the plot twist happened. And I was like, oh, that's so boring.
What made you, because this is kind of old now, I guess. And no one really talks about it, right? Like what made you want to watch it?
No, their contract. I've seen so many obscure things from contracts.
And was it a contract from someone who genuinely really likes it?
Yeah. No one was trying to mess with me with this. Okay. No, they liked it. Yeah, I was just so disappointed by it, which is unfortunate, but it happened.
Now, did they pull like when you were done and you didn't like the plot twist, like, oh no, but you didn't understand the plot twist?
I think they did. I think they were kind of like, oh, it's sad you didn't like kind of get what they were doing. I'm like, I think I got it, and I did not like what I got. So, but
Gotcha.
I think my karma though is I always saw this one list posted on Reddit, and it would be like best anime movies of all time, and it would have this like huge list of like all these anime films ranked, especially individual ones, and they would have like such a great list, and then Colorful would always be number one on the list, and I'm always like, how is Colorful on number one? And everyone would comment like, this list is great, but why is Colorful number one? And now that's me with Promare, so I think it's come around full circle.
Karma. Wait, so is this movie like melodramatic?
It's not too melodramatic. I think it nails the emotional points really well. I just think the like revelation is like really like boring and not as interesting, which
like
is
it
sad.
falls flat for you. Okay.
Yeah. Everything up until like essentially the ending I thought was pretty good.
Now this, I don't know if you'll be able to answer this. I'm just really curious here. Like obviously there's probably been cases where like maybe you didn't get an intended effect and then someone explained it to you and then you were like, oh, okay, now I get it. Now I like it more.
Yeah.
What is the difference between that feeling, if you've had that feeling, where like now understanding the intended effect made you like it more versus in this case, that where here you're staunchly like, nah, I still don't like it. Doesn't matter.
It's like a lot more straightforward than a lot of the other like you didn't get it type of explanations. Like, you know, if you explain to someone why the end of Evangelion ending is a lot more optimistic and you kind of piece everything together, you're like, oh, okay, I can see why it's an optimistic ending now. I have a different perspective than I did before. This one has a way more straightforward plot twist of like the thing that is revealed, and you're led to kind of believe something else for a lot of the time. At least I did. And I really liked the way it was presented up until then. And then when they reveal that, it's just a very underwhelming plot twist, you know?
Okay. Got it. Now I want to watch it. I'll come back to you about it.
Okay. If you watch it, let me know.
Will do.
Joker game, boring, seasonal, nothing to say. Haruki season 2.
Is this because of the Endless 8?
Yeah, but I also like it wasn't just Endless 8, but this was the Endless 8 season. I'll put it that way.
So you're a trooper because you could tell the difference between your level of commitment and mine. I remember when it was airing seasonally, I watched one episode, didn't drop it. I just didn't catch up for whatever reason. I got busy. Then friends started complaining about some Endless 8 thing, and then I was like, nope. And then I never watched it.
I don't know if this is me, but like, so I actually like the Endless 8 as a concept and how it fits into everything. But since I don't like the actual episode that is being repeated 8 times, that brings it down for me. And that's kind of how I feel about most Haruhi episodes. I just like fundamentally don't click with Haruhi. And like the main, everything that's going on, I just don't click with it.
Did you watch season 1 out of order?
I don't even remember what order I watched it in. I don't remember.
Airing order.
Forget. I don't even remember. I think it was chronological.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, like after it aired, everyone just watched it chronologically because it makes sense.
I don't even remember. Maybe I should have watched airing. Who even knows? Starlight Review.
Yes.
It's a T.
I mean, I dropped it, so I can't really. I don't have a full opinion, but from what I saw, wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, I just don't like the show.
I got halfway through. It just, I don't know. It felt like it was trying to be something else.
No, you froze.
Oh no, did I freeze?
No, you're back.
Am I back?
Yeah.
All right. Hello. No, like I felt like it was trying to be something like grand or something else, and I feel like it never reached those heights from what I watched, and I don't know if it did eventually reach them later, but it was just uninteresting to me.
Yeah, I don't like the characters, and I don't think the production was interesting enough to really make up for it. I think the overall themes were probably really good if you like that review. I think it's like a specific type of like Japanese plays, like I forget what it's called. Like but in a similar vein to Yowamushi Pedal, I don't think it made the subject matter interesting. Like if you already had that knowledge, I'm sure it was interesting to you, or like if you are inclined to find that interesting.
Which I wasn't, so I think like that definitely is probably part of it, you know.
Yeah, I just think it was kind of a miss, and like it's kind of tough because everyone kind of sells it as like, well, the creator was a disciple of Ikuhara, and I've seen everything Ikuhara has made, and I loved most of them. So I do kind of feel like when I was watching it, it did really kind of feel like a poor man's Ikuhara, where like a lot of the symbolism and direction and cinematography didn't have the same meaning as a lot of Ikuhara shots. So like, it was just like definitely a mismatch. It was just not a vibe.
I do believe you when you say that, because I remember thinking when we were going through your top 100, and I didn't mention it, that Sada Zanmai, I was surprised it was on there, because most people I've heard, and I didn't finish Sada Zanmai, and I haven't watched Penguin Drum, but I've always heard people say like, oh, Penguin Drum is just like did everything better than Sada Zanmai.
I would agree, but yeah.
And then it's like, you know, it's just sort of like the same shit but done worse.
Yeah, it's just tough. I mean, he has a very distinct style, but there's also like there's a lot of whimsical theatrics to his style that like I really get, but this time I didn't really get it. And there's one part where like the giraffe is like, you're enjoying these young girls like fighting and getting hurt, aren't you a sick fuck? And I'm just like, I'm bold of you to assume I'm enjoying it, but okay. Like it was essentially like that, but it's just like a complete miss across the board, like mismatch for me.
Got it. Okay.
So speaking and getting into the next one, Flip Flappers, the second acclaimed but not as much watched show that many people like, that is a complete mismatch for me.
So yeah, I've always wondered if I was too harsh on Flip Flappers, because I think I watched 1 or 2 episodes, dropped it, never went back, didn't care for it, wasn't for me, and then I heard later on like you said, critically acclaimed, people love it.
Yeah, I think it's bad. I think the characters are bad. I give it slightly more props than Starlight Revue because there are a few good episodes that I like. There's like the spooky episode, and then there's the one like the multiple personality episode. People will know, but they were good. I think the 2 main characters are very bad. The side girl is good. At some point, they like kind of blatantly, like kind of shot for shot rip off the End of Evangelion like invasion scene. Like they kind of like do the exact same thing, and I think it's like, to a certain point, it's like, yeah, there's a lot of creative things going on, but it's also taking homage from so many different things that I'm like, no, I'm just not vibing. I don't think it's good. There's some cool Sakuga shots, like some cool decisions, but like a lot of it felt like a miss for me. So
yeah. And you even finished all of it. So
I did.
Did you read any of the opinions that like praised it and like why they liked it so much?
I was doing the Art Anime Awards with someone who made a PowerPoint presentation on why it was so good. So I unfortunately heard a lot of opinions on why it was so good and why I was too stupid to understand it. So I have not had good interactions with Flip Flapper fans as of circa 2016 watching this. So I've heard many opinions.
So what is your response, summarized response to that, like that type of when you get that response, like, oh, you're too stupid to understand it. So, because in your opinion, you clearly understood it, right?
Yeah.
And
well, they'll explain the point, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't think they communicated the point well. I don't think they conveyed it well, and I think sometimes I just don't like the point, you know?
Gotcha.
You know?
Okay.
Because a lot of people viewed it as kind of like the main girl was like, oh, it's like female lesbian Shinji Ikari, and it's like, first off, respect Shinji Ikari. Don't just start throwing his name around all the time, even though I know people do it, but like, I just don't think they really put in the legwork for the characterization to really be held to that regard. So that's my tea, but it's definitely a creative effort. It just completely missed the mark for me. So
Flip Flappers fans, I encourage you to sound off in the comments now.
Don't worry, I'm used to it.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I felt really, okay, this is mean, and I've been there back when I was getting like roasted for not liking it back in 2016, like Reddit forums, they like revealed the first the sales for it, and it sold like 700 Blu-rays. So whenever someone would get like really like mean about it, I'd be like 700
Damn.
Blu-rays. I'm just saying, like, well, it's not like my favorites have all sold well, so I'm in no room to talk, but like, you know, shit got hard in the paint.
I mean, they talk shit, you know, you got to be able to
gotta come at
back it up. Code Geass movie 1. Which one was
that? That was the Akito movie. I didn't feel like being consistent. Magical Girl Rising Project. Yeah, this was just bad. Gacha game's gone wrong.
And the Hunter x Hunter movie is just not doing well.
Yeah, the Hunter x Hunter movies are bad. I don't like them. The Full Metal Alchemist movie.
Yes, where it belongs. I hate that movie.
They broke up my ship. There's the one cool fight scene, and that's it. I don't like it. It's like just I don't.
For someone that was waiting like for so long for an ending to the original series to get this, I I was mad.
It was so
I was
bad.
really mad.
I just hate, like, they just broke.
But I know there are people that like it.
Yeah, respect to them. Respect to
exist.
everyone who likes the anime. I don't like, but I don't like them. So respect to you and your family. Just because, more like just boring.
So I heard that one was good. I heard people like that one.
It's like very ground. This is sometimes these subtle grounded shows are so grounded and
that it's
subtle
boring.
that they get to be entertaining. Like, yeah.
Do you feel like? Now I'm curious. Do you feel like that's unfair?
No, I think it was boring.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day, if the characters aren't interesting, interesting in any way, like I was interested in the show at first, the way it progressed onward became less interesting, and then I got really bored. And I can't give something a 5 or above if I find it really boring.
But what about the people that complain about like the pacing or when a show's way too slow or something like that? Would you say that's like somewhat similar to that, or you think this is just a different category altogether?
It wasn't really the pacing that did it. It was just like, I think it was like the weird case where you got the main couple. The main couple is kind of like a love triangle where it's like this guy likes a girl. I don't think she knows how she feels, but then like a younger girl likes him, and people wanted the younger girl and the main guy to get together, but he gets with the other girl. And at the end of it, I was like, I watched 12 episodes about these characters and I don't care about any of them. So it's like you watch something and it doesn't move you at all. It's not always like the pacing or like presentation. Sometimes it's just like the content itself is not engaging. And I think that's where it's a bit different than like pacing slow, you know?
Yeah, because I think that's what slice of life shows get accused of a lot.
Yeah, and I like a lot of slice of life shows. So sometimes pacing can be an issue, but more often than not, I just have issue with the actual content of what I'm watching and that I don't connect.
Yeah, like the characters not being relatable or just, like you said, not being interesting.
Yeah, they're just kind of boring. Maybe that's realistic, but I don't need it to be that realistic. Koitsu Uso, it had a really catchy opening. Another seasonal that was like some weird like sex ed matchmaking show, and they had really bad character designs, but it was like it's like a future thing where everyone gets paired up with their future spouse like scientifically or something. And like
I was interested in checking this one out, and then I never did because I heard the manga fell off, so I was like, okay, I'm good.
Yeah, and it was an unfinished one. I wasn't gonna watch the manga, kind of bad. Kimono Zume, this was one of the first Yuasa TV anime. It's kind of like Devilman Crybaby, but kind of worse in my opinion. The ending I think was really bad. I think it was like ridiculous and bad. But if you're gonna watch all the Yuasa anime like I have, check it out. But
just to get it on the bucket list, I guess.
Yeah, it was. I liked it so much at the beginning, and then it was like, nah.
But this one's like highly praised, or?
I mean, I don't know, because sometimes, okay, like, mask off, as a big Yuasa fan, I love Yuasa. Like, sometimes people, I think, do just praise the director first, no matter how their content is, and I think they don't want to admit I'm not saying every Kimono Zume fan is, like, doing this. I'm just saying in general, like, I think sometimes people are, like, a bit blind to the creators they love, and they want to praise everything the creator has done, even if like it might not be that good. And for me, this is not that good. I have no problem saying Yuasa is still one of my favorite directors, even if like some of his stuff I just like don't like, and I don't think. But
would you say though it's still an essential entry if you want to check out check out most of his works and get a feel for the creator, or do you think this is like skippable?
No. I think I was doing a podcast with Tokyo Podfathers where we watched all of Yuasa's works and we talked about all of them. So we did a full like director breakdown. So we watched everything they came out with as of that point. So that's why I watched it, and I was genuinely curious about it. If you want to see like the Yuasa best of hits, like you don't have to watch this.
Makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. In a similar boat, I think it's kind of close. Mind Game, it's also his first film. This one is more acclaimed. I didn't like it. I'm sorry.
I haven't heard of Mind Game.
I think it's his first directorial debut. I was not a fan, but I also watched it in a movie theater. Maybe I have to rewatch it. Who knows? It was better than Kimono Zune though. So, Amagami SS, I feel bad. Amethyst loves the show. So this one is like a dating sim adaptation, but it has the unique the property of like the main character is like really perverted, but also kind of boring. I don't know how that happens, but
Huh. Well, aren't most main characters in these harem type of shows pretty kind of dull?
Yeah, and he kind of lived up to that. So,
like, is there actually a harem show where you can name that? Like, okay, the main character was genuinely like not boring, interesting, good.
Go back to that Conception show. That was technically a harem show.
Okay,
but
yeah, that's different.
That's not the same. What's the one? I heard the world God
only knows. That one is great.
I haven't seen that one, but I heard that
season 2 I think is the best season. Yeah.
Ooh, I'll have to check it out. Yeah, this one kind of fell in line with that, so was not a fan. Tokyo Revengers.
Oh, here we are. Here we go. I'm actually surprised it's not lower.
Yeah, I did like some stuff. I can see the vision for where it could be a good show, and then it doesn't do that. So
I just thought it was always bad.
Well, you were not wrong. You were not.
I mean, I didn't finish it. Again, another one. Did this finish? This finished.
The manga's not done, but yeah,
the season. I dropped it around episode 6 or something. I just I can't do this anymore. This is bad. Whatever.
I think I started liking it like around that time because it was like this one character who was kind of cool arc. And then it got to one thing. I don't know if I ever told you about it. I'll tell you about it later. I don't want to spoil, but like kind of the most ridiculous thing I've seen. Probably the worst backstory of all time.
Okay.
Yeah, just not good.
I mean, I just really wasn't feeling the main character, and I thought,
he's really bad.
He would get better at some point, and he just wasn't. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just not enjoying this. I'm not having a good time watching this. So
yeah, he sucks. He's the worst.
My fiance would just be in the background like, this show's bad. I'm like, you're not even watching it.
She's like, I know. She has the sixth sense.
Yeah.
White Album 2. I didn't feel like typing it out. Okay, this was the show that I talked about like an hour ago where I was like, I watched the first couple episodes at one point and I hated it so much that I dropped it and I never touched it for a while. And then I heard everyone likes White Album 2 and I'm like, okay, yeah,
I've heard good things about this show. Like people love this show, I think, right?
Yeah, this is one of the like scummy romance shows where they're like, oh, it's realistic because they're scumbags or whatever. Okay, so at first I dropped it because the main character, in order to get into a locked music room that a girl was playing piano in, he starts climbing on like the second floor window to try and get in there. And like he almost falls and dies. And I'm like, okay, dumbass, like loser. And then I also found him to be like one of the least dateable characters I've seen. Like it's already felt unrealistic because no one would fall in love with him or date him because he's so lame. So that always is kind of like, okay, this dude sucks. And now he's going to have these two like beautiful girls fall for him. I can't buy into it.
Yeah.
But then I went back and I actually watched the show and I still found it pretty bad, but for different reasons. But what it does do that I appreciate is it shows people being in a relationship, but someone not 100% being into them and still having feelings for someone else and exploring that path. So one of the girls I think is actually pretty good. She's like, her name is Setsuna. She was kind of cool. She was a cool take on the usual kind of like nice girl trope. This is essentially like what happens when nice girls choose not to finish last. Like, and she was really interesting. I liked her a lot. Yes, Setsuna. She was cool.
And this was in season 2.
White Album 1 is different. White Album 2 is like a standalone thing.
Oh, okay,
okay. So that's confusing.
Because I just looked at it on Mal, and then the season 2 had a much higher rating than season 1. I'm like, huh? Why would anyone watch season 2 then?
Understandable and very understandable mix-up. But yeah, so then stuff goes down, everyone gets sad and shit, whatever. But I appreciate the certain elements that I appreciate that happen that I appreciate. So under normal circumstances, if I just did the like watch 2 episode and drop it, I would have been like 2 out of 10 worst of all time, nothing redeeming about the show. But now that I finished it, I'm like, so I still didn't really like it, but this one character and the way it did this one thing is really cool. And that's why sometimes it's worth finishing these shows, even if you might not end up having a new favorite.
When did you watch this?
Semi-recently, maybe 2019.
What? Like you hadn't finished it, or you watched it from the beginning in 2019?
I watched it from the beginning again because it had been so long since.
What compelled you to go back to it?
I have no idea. I've literally no idea. I don't know why I did. Definitely just a whim. I had a few tweets on it. I forget when I talked about it.
You brought up a point about the main character being pathetic and like it's not realistic, like that the girls would fall in love with him, which is the case actually for a lot of I think anime. But have you been watching Dress Up Darling?
No, do you think I have?
No. I've just been seeing like some discourse recently, and if you're not caught up, we'll talk about it later.
We can make a Dress Up Darling podcast. That could be one of ours.
That could be fun.
Yeah.
Once it's almost done, I think only like 3 more weeks left in the season, so
yeah, I'll catch up to it.
Yeah. I'm not implying anything. I was just seeing some murmurs in the community. So
that's a general disconnect I have with a lot of romance ecchi series that are like, I attempt to like, it's tough to take them seriously because a lot of times the main guy, I'm not saying Dress Up Darling falls into this because I've heard the opposite actually, but a lot of times
I've heard the opposite too, but now I'm hearing like both sides. So
yeah, a lot of times the main dude is simply like really unfuckable. He just is a self-insert. He's there, and you can't. And at some point you're like, okay, why would he be dating any of these people? And like, you know, the intent is to self-insert, and once that's there, it's really tough for it to build like a genuinely good romance. So when you see the vision, it's so tough to like. You've seen behind the curtains. It's tough to put him back. And that's a big thing where I'm like, okay, like, but who would date this guy, to be honest?
Yeah.
So moving on to more mid. Star Wars Visions, I'm sorry. It was a cool idea, but I realized watching this that like I just like don't actually want to watch anything else related to Star Wars, and so I just don't care.
Did you like the movies or no? None of them.
I didn't see the new movies. I didn't even see them because I don't care about them.
Did you like the originals or like any of the trilogies? I guess.
I think I did. I think I liked them when I was younger. I liked them, but I'm like not invested enough to keep watching more Star Wars.
Gotcha. Is there any of the shorts that you liked? Because there were
I did
quite
like
a few.
I liked the first one. That was a cool samurai fight. I think I like the last one too. I forget a lot of them. I was just like dreading watching some of these, and I'm like, these are really short. Oh, I like the small robot one, where the small robot builds their own lightsaber. That was really good. That was probably.
I'm starting to see a running theme here. I did not finish this one. So.
Like, how do you feel about this one? I don't know. I
have no idea. I watched a few. I didn't finish it. I didn't feel compelled. Yeah. It felt like the Animatrix to me. So.
Yeah, I might like the Animatrix. So fingers crossed.
Check it out. I watched that when I was a kid. So.
No, okay. Kekai sent in. I didn't like the first season. I'm sorry. But you like
season 2, right? But you like season 2, right?
Yeah, but replay value loves it for the director who didn't come back for season 2. But like my toxic take on this is what like non-New York people think New York is like, because it's just like so rapidly going in between shots that like I didn't think anything had a chance to breathe. It was just so rapid, and I couldn't get attached to anything.
Would you recommend it? Should I watch it?
Yeah, I think it's worth watching. It definitely looks really cool.
For the
like
ED?
The ED is classic. The ED is like greatest of all time.
All right.
Perfect. Mwah. And there's a lot of great animation shots. Like, it definitely looks really cool.
All right.
Would recommend.
Let's keep it going. I think I saw you have next Ballroom.
Welcome to the Ballroom. Let me write the full one. So this one is another sports anime where they just like didn't really animate it enough for me to get attached to the actual dancing. And I like dancing. I like ballroom dancing. I think the characters weren't good enough, and they didn't do a good enough job of making it like a fluid animation. It had like the Haikyuu team, and it was like a lot of still shots. So it was not.
So was it really just the animation that brought it down for you, not the story?
No, I think the characters were unlikable. I didn't like many of the characters at all.
Because I heard people love this one. Yeah, like the only gripes I heard was really the either animation or character models being weird at times, and that took people out of it. But besides that, like I heard people like loved it.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't hit for me. I like the one girl's backstory where it was like the two girls were still dancing, and she missed when it could just be like her dancing with her friends who I think she was in love with, and then like now they're stuck dancing with guys who they don't care about as much, and how it's tough. But like I don't think they did dancing as a subject matter like they didn't do a great job with dancing, and I just didn't like the characters.
Say it's also maybe possibly because you know more about dancing as opposed to someone that wouldn't?
I don't know that much. Like I'm not like that. Like I've seen a couple seasons of Dancing with the Stars, like, and so you think you can dance? Like I'm not a dancer.
That's an expert to me.
Yeah,
you're qualified.
Like, I know about different types of dancing, but like I'm not a dancing expert by any means. But
yeah,
I just think also I watched it seasonally, so like I watched it on a week-to-week basis. So like sometimes that makes it that highlights a lot of things you wouldn't like and might obscure some things you would like. So I'll check out
Okay.
the manga and see if it's better, but like I was just not vibing with this.
All right. And so we're in the bottom. This is actually confusing. We're in the top 39 now of your bottom 100.
Yeah, so the shows are getting better. But like
yeah.
okay, everyone loves Nyan Nyan Biori. I don't like it. I'm sorry.
I've never watched it. What's the appeal to this show? What?
It's another comfy show where it's like girls in the countryside.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah, I just didn't find it interesting. I'm sorry, guys. I don't like the country. I like being inside.
I mean, I can relate to that, but yeah, no, I never checked out this show.
Yeah. It might not be you might like it. Most people love it, but not me.
I don't do the comfy shows. Not often. P5.
Persona 5 the animation.
No, I know, but what compels you to watch these video game anime?
I wanted to see it because I was on my Persona 5 kick and I wanted to see how they did.
I have no faith ever. Like I got burned like a few times when I was a lot younger and I was like, nope, they can never do one right. Except like Arcane, but that's not anime, so it doesn't count.
But I heard that Persona 4 had a good animation. Good anime. Yeah, that's why I was like, I was hopeful, but it was not good. Nisei Monogatari, there it is.
This is unjust. Why is this here?
It should be
this
lower.
is the
okay.
This is the peak of the medium. Episode 8.
I saw on Crunchyroll they now have a category called "This is where that meme is from," and Nisei Monogatari is there.
Wow, really? That's funny. This is where that meme is from.
I just hate it. Like, I'm sorry. I love Bake so much, and then like I go to this, and it's not just the fan service. It's just like I found the thematic exploration boring. I don't think
I'll talk about this one. I feel so dumb about this one because I feel like people will go on and explain like the thematic whatever about Nisei Monogatari, and like the explanations like are very interesting and like I can see it and whatever, but like I found like his sisters, both their arcs, like so boring. Like,
yeah,
that's
just
so like I just didn't care.
I don't care about them. I think it's so boring.
Like
Kaiki
I feel like they
aren't enough to save it. Like, nah.
Yeah, like I feel like they could have done them better, I guess, make them more interesting as characters, but they're just kind of very surface level. So that in itself was like, okay.
And they took it away from like the most interesting relationship with Senjo and Aragi, and then they take that away, which is what I loved about the first season. And then they give us like his sisters being boring, and like I was just like, no, I hate this. Sorry.
Yeah, and then he has this like dynamic with Hanakawa going on, which is like a little confusing because it's like you know, she just you just dumped her. Like why are you guys still flirting with each other?
Yeah, it's confusing. I did not vibe, but we'll see how the rewatch works. Maybe it'll I don't know.
I mean, I think I don't hate it. I don't hate Nisei. I think it's definitely the lowest Monogatari series for me.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I didn't really enjoy it too much. Like what saved it for me, I think as with most people, was the last 2 episodes or like the whole thing with Kaiki at the end.
Those are pretty cool.
Certain scenes, so.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how the rewatch goes. Mayoiga, I don't know if this was supposed to be a comedy or not, and I still don't know, but it was kind of hysterical. This was that one where they're like all these people are trying to go on like this suicide thing to go die, and it's like weird like.
Oh, I heard this was like one of those enjoyable 4 out of 10s.
Yeah, like it was really funny, but like I don't know what they were going for with this, so I'm still confused. Yeah, so I don't know. Gangsta, this is the saddest 4 out of 10 I have. This is the saddest show. I love this show so much. I was like 8 out of 12 episodes in, and it was like an 8 out of 10. I loved it. I loved everything about it. And then the last 4 episodes happened, and Manglobe went bankrupt. And that's
rough.
It's like such a letdown. It was so sad. It was just tragic.
And the 8 episodes weren't strong enough to save those. To save the series, save its rating.
They introduced a new character in the last 10 minutes of the last episode.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. It was so sad.
It's like, guys, we're going bankrupt. Why are we introducing a new character?
I've never seen a breakdown of this magnitude. It was
it
sad.
An anime original?
No, it's a manga.
Oh, okay.
I might read that, but I think
check out the manga. No?
I think it's on hiatus because she's health issues, but I gotta check it out. So sad. Anyway, I will check it out and get back to everyone. Great opening, though. Okay, now we're on the 5 out of 10s.
Uh-oh.
All of these, I guess you would call various levels of average for whatever reason. Cypher is that like music video thing that some people really like, but I thought it was lame and not fun.
It's like, I think it is like one of the worstly rated. No, it has a 4.52. Might have gone up. I thought I had a 3 on a Mal. Yeah, I think I gave it like a 5. I found the backstory to it interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like then I watched it, I'm like, okay, whatever. Say I Love You. Yeah, it's a shoujo and it was kind of boring and I would not say I love it. So
wow.
No. So when I can say I've seen a few shoujo here and there, I got it. Overlord. I can't believe this thing is that popular. It is really boring. Don't care.
I think I did watch I don't think I finished Say I Love You. I think I watched a good chunk of it though. It was interesting.
Yeah. And you haven't seen Overlord, so.
No, I have not. So I know people loved it until season 3.
Yeah, I just didn't vibe with it's like he's the overpowered whatever. I just don't care.
But isn't it just a power fantasy essentially?
Yeah, I don't even have enough energy to love or hate it. It's just like so lame. It was kind of boring and I was like, okay, whatever.
You only watched the first season?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was good enough. Then we got Mirai, the Hosoda film that got nominated for Best Picture. I think I've seen this twice, and I do find both equally boring. Yeah, I don't care, and this makes me scared for watching Belle. But
isn't that universally? I don't know, not universally, but like, don't most people not like Mirai?
I don't know. I think they like it, but I think they view it's one of his weakest ones. But like, I don't know. I
did hear that Belle is really just carried by its production and music, though. So don't hold up your hopes.
I've seen that before.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe Belle will make this. Patame Inverted. I think this is a hot take, but I don't like it. I think it was kind of dumb. Cool concept, kind of dumb execution.
Well, you clearly like something about it since it's at a 5.
I think it was interesting. Like, it was an interesting concept, but like, I wouldn't watch it again.
What was it about the concept that, if you can pinpoint it, that was that was dumb to you?
Well, it's not that, I don't think it was the concept. I think it was like the people were at like war and they acted really like, it was like really stupid war bad kind of takes, you know? Like they were just at war. But they did have an interesting revelation that I thought was kind of cool. But
okay.
So it's like the opposite of Colorful, where most of it was kind of whatever, but it had a cool concept and change.
All right. I need to stop asking you questions. Let's look at your top 29, and I'm just gonna, if there's anything egregious that I see.
Okay, I think you might.
I'm just gonna ask you.
I guess this was the best Code Geass Akito movie. Kurano Kyokai movie 8. They were just standing around and talking for.
Someone listed that actually. Put that down as one of the responses we got earlier. They put this movie, but this is like what, the 8th movie?
Yeah, it's like an info dump epilogue. It was like whatever. Huh. It's like a Wikipedia article, but like Maya Sakamoto is reading it to you. So.
But is it well? That's pretty good for people like Maya Sakamoto.
Exactly. Kind of.
Is it essential knowledge that you kind of need for understanding a subsequent movie, or?
You can't ask any Nasu fan if something is essential.
All right, you know what? I'm gonna stop asking questions. Keep going. Keep going.
Irregular Magic High School.
No questions. I get it.
Domestic Girlfriend.
I gave it a 6.
Well,
it was fun. It was fun trash.
Fun trash. I thought it was average trash, but still, it could have been worse. Fully Cooley Progressive. It was a little fun. Spicy. That was the worst Fully Cooley.
I didn't check these out. Same reason. Heard these were bad, both sequels, and I was like, I'm done.
The second one was better. Alternative was better, but
Is it above this? Is it right above this?
I don't think it's a 5. I don't think it's on this list.
Oh.
Free Dive to the Future. I just don't give a shit about season 3. It was really like so. Okay, so I'll just go quick thing. Free Eternal Summer, genuinely good coming of age story. They could have gone one of two ways for the third one. Now that they're in college and swimming on an international level, they could have taken it to a college level and dealt with more like, you know, professional sports issues or like adjusting to like adult life, you know, as fitting of college students, or they could have gone back to middle school drama. And of course they went back to middle school drama, now featuring high school kids. I mean, now featuring college students. I cry. Mentioned
I think I
W.
liked it. I think it was, I don't know. It was very them to still be dwelling on high school drama and promises.
I think the problem is it's like the one character who they knew in middle school, and like he runs into the Haru in college, and I'm like, bro, you are in college now. Like you cannot be like this tied down.
It's true. It was annoying. That part was annoying.
It's just like the Kyoani bread and butter, and sometimes I just want them to like go outside of that comfort zone and like do college drama. Don't do this middle school drama. So, and they introduced like all of these new characters. It was like a Crayola crayon box exploded, but whatever. The ending was funny. Dimension W, Boulevard of Broken Seasonals. Sad. Anohana.
Yes, let's go.
I didn't feel sad.
Me either. I'm not alone. It's like, why are they shouting Menma over and over? I get it.
I'm like, okay. I don't know.
I've been told I'm a horrible person, so I'm glad to have found someone else that's just as horrible.
Yeah, after all, we're just weeps.
And that's the end of the podcast. All right, keep going.
Grave of the Fireflies.
Oh, I have yet to finish this.
Yeah,
I know this is part of the pattern, but like I still have it paused on like the 17-minute mark.
Yeah, this is another not sad, didn't cry, fuck those kids. I just don't care. I don't care about them.
I don't know. I was finding myself not caring either. So we'll see.
When you know what's gonna happen, you're like,
they
okay.
ruined it with the whole opening. It's like,
yeah.
All right,
whatever.
keep going.
High School Fleet. It was actually kind of an interesting concept about like these cute girls being like in the Navy and like commanding all these like huge machine boats, but like it was still not that good. So quintessential 5 probably. Haruhi season 1. I'm sorry, I still don't click with Haruhi, but it was better than season 2.
But God knows, concert.
God only knows. Or no, it is God knows. God knows. Orange. This was really kind of bad. They stopped drawing faces halfway through.
I did hear about that. I didn't finish this one though.
I think the manga's a bit better.
That's what my fiance was telling me.
Mika Kunin is like a pretty forgettable, cute romance show. And
is this engaged to the unidentified English title? I actually really like this one. I think I gave it like a 6. 7.
Okay, that's fair. That's like fair. I just remember looking back, and it was like the older sister was like creepily hitting on the young girl, and I was like, that's kind of weird.
I mean, that was weird. It was like a cute seasonal with some weirdness. Yeah. So it is forgettable, but I had fun with it.
Yeah. Sometimes we do. Makuya.
Yes. This is where it needs to be. It
was like, I don't know. I mean, some parts were genuinely touching. Other parts, I wish they were not touching. So, like, that's the best way I could put it.
I didn't get it. It just, some things didn't make sense to me.
Not a vibe. I'm sorry. Mushoku Tensei season 1.
Refer to our pod.
Refer to our podcast. Guess what? Season 2 is higher, so I got you.
Yeah, that's true.
SAO, Alicization. Foreshadowing.
That's best one for you.
No, I have some SAO seasons higher, like the original.
Okay, but this is the best of the Alicization.
Yes.
Yeah.
Best Alicization at its best.
Saga. Yeah, Alicization saga.
Konosuba season 2. The jokes stopped getting funny in season 2 for me. I just didn't vibe with that. I have season 1 higher. I thought season 1 was pretty funny. This one, I was just getting tired of everything.
I think I agree with this. I don't know. I'm trying to remember which season I preferred, but either way, I was never too big on the jokes. It was like beating a dead horse.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Let's go. Noragami. Yeah. Yukine. I remember his arc being really annoying. I remember that getting dragged out a lot. That was sad. Not a vibe. I heard season 2
I thought people loved Noragami.
I think they do, but I wasn't one of them. But I think season 2 people like a lot. So eventually.
Still haven't watched it. It's on my plan to watch.
Okay, yeah, it's good. It looks pretty good. Akame ga Kill.
This should be lower.
I've heard it should be lower and higher. I think it could both be lower and higher.
What did you like about it? Why is it a 5? Why is it here? Justify it.
I think it was like, I think I liked the first half. I think it was like pretty like good action, like they were like likable enough, and then like season 2 happened. I mean, the second half happened, and I'm like, they're just killing everyone off, and I don't care. So here we go, here we are again. But I think it was a pretty distinct. I liked the first half, and I didn't like the second half.
So I'm gonna say the second half wasn't boring, at least.
It was not boring. There was a lot going on.
There is stuff here that's lower because it was boring. So,
yeah, and I don't take too much issue with Akame ga Kill in general. Like, everyone's like, oh, it's really edgy. I'm like, yeah, it is, but that's what we signed up for in episode 1. That's what we knew, the vision. We knew the vibes. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I feel very I don't feel many things for this show.
I'm just comparing it to like, let's say Dead Man Wonderland.
I think it was better than Dead Man Wonderland. I like the characters a lot more and the general premise, but I don't like the opening as much. And that's all that matters.
That is what matters.
Anime are temporary, openings are eternal.
Yes.
Keijo. People will shit on Keijo, but Keijo was genuinely hilarious. Keijo was a funny ass show.
Never got into this one.
This is the butt one where they
No, I know what it is. I just never watched it.
I watched it for a season. I'm like, I don't hate it.
I've used scenes from the show. I've never watched it. I checked this one out. This one was it was all right. It was a cool concept.
Neko is cool. Neko Monogatari was cool. I think I just got Hanikawa Overload.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking of something else. What else?
You were thinking of something else.
I was. You know what? I was thinking of I'm stupid. I was thinking of the Monogatari / Nisekoi crossover promo. I was like, yeah, this was all right.
I was like, no, that's not on this. But that was
what are you? That's not what you're. Yeah, that's not the right thing, buddy. I don't like Neko Monogatari, so I agree with this.
Oh, you don't?
No, because I didn't I felt like we already rehashed this. We were rehashing it. We already kind of got the gist of her story in the series.
Yeah.
In the OVAs.
And when you're binging it, you're like, okay,
let's move on. Come on.
So I think a rewatch could do wonders because I like Hanekawa more, but
I mean, I did like the final confrontation between them.
Yes.
Like that final battle.
I like
Everything
that a
else,
lot. That was cool. That was the first time in the series when I was watching it that I'm like, yo, Aragi's kind of got the drip. That was the most favorably I viewed him. It's like, yo, go off, King.
Meanwhile, Evangelion fan here is like, yes, they're yelling at each other. They're yelling their feelings, hate each other more. This is great.
Yeah.
Next. Uh-oh. All right.
Okay.
This concludes the podcast. We will not give any explanation for this one. I agree with this.
Wait, it's more of me. It's so touching.
But we had I think a conversation about this during our hot takes pod where I think we dislike it for separate reasons. The part that I had an issue with, you were like, well, no, that made sense. And I was like,
which one was your issue?
I think I wasn't feeling the ending nor the reveal. And it just didn't it didn't, I just felt it was lackluster. That was it to me.
Yeah, because I liked that. Essentially, I like Oogie Dark, but I don't like the other 2 arcs. And you like the other 2 arcs. And you did.
What were the other 2 arcs?
That's the Mayo Hell, where Mayoi Hell.
That one was whatever. It's really the ending for that one. Actually, isn't Mayoi Hell?
Mayoi Hell is the.
No, that's part of the previous series, isn't it?
No, the ending of that leads into this directly.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Yeah. So he gets down there, and then I don't like how that one concludes, but I kind of just cope through it. There's some cool parts, but overall not it. And then the next one is Hitage Rendezvous. And that just made me frustrated because I was like, we've sidelined Hitagi for 90% of this series. So I was just frustrated because
I like that one. That was touching.
It was cute, but I felt like it made me more frustrated with the rest of the series.
But enough to give it a 5 though?
Well, that was awesome.
Those weren't
I think it's also frustrating because as much as I do like I do like parts of Oogie Dark, I don't really like the conclusion to it where he's going off and helping another girl and he's like, oh, it's me. But it's this time it's different because he's not doing it to hurt himself. I get what they were going for, but I felt like it was I didn't realize this until later. I think it was a lot of this was the physical conclusion, but I didn't feel like it was the true emotional catharsis that I wanted until I saw Owari Zoku, which was the follow-up series to this.
Oh,
and
so
I really
okay.
Like that.
So I'm the opposite. I didn't like Zoku because I was just I don't know. I felt like it was unnecessary. I didn't need it. I felt like I already got, the conclusion. This was just sort of okay, let's see more of the same characters for a little bit more. And that was it.
I like that one. I think it has a much more powerful ending. But the way I felt with this, the main thing I don't like about Owari season 2 is I don't like how it overlooks a lot of the supernatural conflicts that were building up throughout the series. And I feel like they just tried to go for like a very easy conclusion by taking some shortcuts. And that's my overall thoughts, are that like they were building up to this, like, especially in Suki Monogatari, where it's like, okay, like if you stay being a vampire with Shinobu, you'll be viewed as a monster eventually. You can't go back to your normal life. And then it's like, it's kind of like, will he choose being a normal person or being with Shinobu? Like, it was a very interesting conflict that could be representing like coming of age conflicts, but like they're kind of like, nah, you can kind of do both. And that's kind of like the Monogatari way, which I don't really vibe with all the time. So
Gotcha. And you feel like Zoku gave you a more clear cut answer in regards to that?
I think I was just kind of resigned to like whatever happens, but I think that one was a bit better. I was a bit more of a better way to say like, hey, there's still a bit of angst going on underneath the surface. How are we going to approach it? And I think that did a bit better job of concluding it.
Okay. All right. Full Monogatari pod to come. We've been scratching the surface over various pods.
Yeah, we will get there. Just Weebs Gatari. Gintama, the second movie, Be Forever Yozura. This movie just kind of sucked. I didn't vibe with it. Bad time travel, kind of whatever. Nah. There was some cool fight scenes. The character designs when they're grown up is cool. That's kind of it. I don't like this movie.
All right. And now we're getting into our final 6, which are at the top of the bottom list.
Which means a few more bad anime and these guys are out of here. Grimgar, what we said,
I didn't dislike Grimgar. I think I gave it like a, I don't know. I thought what it was trying to do was interesting.
I agree. I liked Grimgar until Sinra said it's a character-focused series that doesn't explore the characters or have good characters, and I realized how much I agreed with it, and now I can't look at it. I can't look back. So
I mean, the characters are sort of like kind of like blank templates when you look back at them. They're just there.
Like the character focus did not do enough focusing.
The focus was really like
music videos.
What music?
They played so many different music that were like music videos for each like song for each episode. Like they'd have a montage of them like walking through the town with a different song, and it was like different music videos.
See, what I was about to say, I didn't remember that part. See, I already forgot most of it. What I was gonna say was like it was like what we were talking about earlier about Just Because or something. When, like the show's like too grounded to the point that it's boring. Like I felt like this was like a super grounded take on isekai, and that's what it was trying to do.
I do like that. I do like that in theory. I like it more than a lot of isekai, as evident by my list. But I just wish it did more. If any of them deserve a season 2, I think Grimgar does. I think Grimgar should get a season 2. I would be so excited for that, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh well. Top 5. Juni Tyson, Onimaru's favorite death game, Maz's favorite show. No, it's a funny meme. I like some parts of this. Yeah, that's it.
Which part?
I like the concept, and I like. Well, did you drop it or you finished it?
I dropped it.
Okay, so you didn't get to the part where they do like the backstory on the guy who's the rat. That was a really cool backstory. That was a good episode.
Okay. Literally, it's every episode is a backstory. It's like, okay.
Yeah. His was like a bit different though, but his was cool. So I like that episode, but overall, kind of whatever. Inuyashiki, another Pain sequel. I loved Inuyashiki.
That one failed me, I was so excited for it.
I love that one. I think the concept is awesome. I think it's cool to have a main character who's like 80 and shit. I thought that was cool. Very disappointing. But we did get the screenshot of the bad guy in the show, who's a huge One Piece fan, saying like threatening this girl at gunpoint, and she's like, are my family okay? And he's like, who cares about that? We're talking about One Piece right now.
I think I vaguely remember that. That was awesome. But
yes.
No, it was really I remember liking the show like a lot, like week to week, but it was really the ending. Like it just brought it down a lot.
Yeah. And I love the opening for this too. I think a lot of these I like the opening for them, and I'm like, save these series. Top 3. Inferno Cop. So that's what my background is from. Inferno Cop is one of those shows that like, is it so bad it's good, or so bad it's so good it's bad? Like, I don't know. It's just one of those shows that like some episodes are funny. I still don't know what to make. It could be anything from a 1 to a 10. So I'm like, it's a 5. It was funny, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I had never had any inclination to check it out. So, and with this glowing review, I probably won't. But
it's really short. I watched it because of Space Patrol Luluco does like a shout out to all the Tricker shows. So I wanted to do the research.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I don't know. It just didn't seem like it had much of a plot or anything. So I was like, might not be my thing. So,
but it's kind of funny. Also, they came to a convention in New Jersey and they made an Inferno Cop episode dedicated to New Jersey. So I'm a bit.
That's
biased.
Awesome.
Yeah, they had everyone chanting New Jersey. So they saved New Jersey. So this is like Trust and Betrayal, like the really acclaimed.
For a second there, I thought that was Tiger and Bunny.
Okay, everyone says that. I need to change this. I'm just being lazy. Yeah.
She gave Tiger and Bunny a 5, guys.
No, I gotta see that still. Okay, so Trust and Betrayal, like, okay, I think I'll like it if I watch the original Rurouni Kenshin. But since I just watched these first episodes, I didn't really care.
I mean, it makes sense. When I watched Trust and Betrayal, I was only like 20 episodes into Rurouni Kenshin, so I hadn't even watched all of it. But that was enough to be able to get like, okay, this is what they've been talking about this whole time.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, so it was like, I think I needed more context to appreciate it because it was just like a backstory without the rest of the context. And I'm not like, something I've learned recently is I'm not like a super big backstory person. Like I will like cool backstories and it'll make me appreciate characters, but I'm never going to I will very rarely go from 1 to 100 because of a backstory. So.
Aren't there like a ton of shows that are totally like they hinge on just a backstory that kind of just changes your whole perspective on everything?
Yeah, so one that does work that is probably the exception is like Madoka Magica. Like that's a backstory where I'm like sold. Fate Zero is a show where I watch the backstory and I still am not like super moved. So
you mean with
Kiritsugu?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. So it depends. Sometimes backstories work. Sometimes they don't.
I don't know though. Fate Zero is like kind of a dry show. Like, I don't know. It never really moved me in that way. So
like I was never super emotional watching Fate Zero.
Yeah.
But sometimes I go hard for a good backstory, but other times not so much. But like it depends. I'm not a backstory merchant. That's what I'm saying.
I mean, like this backstory, like Trust and Betrayal, I wouldn't say is like, I don't know. Like I wouldn't say it's like necessary. It's more of like a nice to actually like kind of watch and just see it unfold. But like you can watch all of Rurouni Kenshin and not watch this and it doesn't really change anything because really all you need to know in Rurouni Kenshin is, okay, he used to be this. And you know, this just lets you see it like firsthand and it's animated like really nicely. So
yeah, I'll probably go back and watch it and definitely give it a higher score. It was just a product of the times.
We've guilted you. Guilted you.
I've been guilted a lot on this. And then the top one, almost out of the bottom, Kuzuno Hankai, aka Scum's Wish, almost out of here.
Very almost high up.
It's almost out. Once I rewatch it, now that I'm out of that time of too much Scum's Wish, now I might have the right amount of Scum's Wish. So
what's the premise for Scum's Wish again?
So Scum's Wish is the show where like this girl and a guy both have crushes. They both like people who are unobtainable. They're both teachers at their school. So then they just start hooking up because they're like sad and miserable.
Oh, and then, they're like licking each other's wounds.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And people generally like this one, or?
Yeah, they can go hit either way. I think people appreciate the production on it, which I do too. So production is very good. I should probably give it higher for that.
Because I always hear about this one, and I guess is it just because of the premise, or is it because of the production?
I think the production, but it is in that class. I think that applies to every kind of scummy romance. Is people either love it or hate it.
Gotcha.
So it really depends. People could go either way, but yeah.
All right. Well, this is the top of the bottom 100. We made it, guys.
We made it. Not unscathed, but we made it.
How did you feel about this? Now having completed this exercise.
I don't know. I mean, I went off my original thing because I had to include individual seasons. Otherwise, we would have gotten into the 6 out of 10s, and I didn't want to go into positive scores. But yeah, I think that there are like a lot of shows. Most of the shows I think here are not here because they are like so unwatchable that it's painful. a lot of them just like didn't leave an impression on me, and I can't praise them or put them on a higher level because those other shows that I do view so highly, like they did leave an impression on me. So some of these scores might seem a bit unfair or a bit harsh, but it's really more indicative of how I feel and care about them, or how I remember them, or the impression they left on me. And a lot of times shows just really don't hit you. Like you watch a decent amount of stuff and you're like, yeah, I saw it and that was kind of it. Like I don't remember anything. And I think that's what the majority of these are.
Do you ever feel like for some shows that either you rated them too unfairly, or do you feel like maybe you like we kind of touched on it earlier, like maybe you didn't, I don't know, think about it enough and get the overall message, and then you have to revisit, or do you kind of feel firmly like that it wasn't for you, and in making that distinction?
I mean, I think like the most egregious ones here, people have been like I remember some like random people would be like comment on my Mal and be like, why did you rate this show low? Like, it's so good. And I'd like explain it and they'd either be like yes or no. But like some of them I might like completely change my mind on rewatch. And those are the shows that are higher up on the list. Like those ones I think like, you know, Come to Wish, Trust and Betrayal, maybe not other ones, maybe like my Monogatari rewatch. Like those ones I could see drastically changing, but a lot of them probably not. And I also don't really have any inclination to rewatch them because they were so kind of boring and I just don't care about them, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. And then does doing this make you want to make a mid 100 or just have all of your, 500 ranked?
Like do the mid 100 might get a bit gratuitous of the mid 100. That would be funny though. If people want to see a mid 100, I could do it and just release the list. We might not have to talk about all of them.
Yeah,
because
probably not.
The thing with mid is that like the reason it's there is because you don't have enough to say on it. So This one, I had enough to say because there were like genuinely bad things with some really funny stories, but also like the mid shows are just kind of like snooze worthy, you know?
That'd be really funny though. Like you make the mid 100, the pod starts up, you show the list, pod ends. That's it.
That's just it. Like,
it's like we got nothing to say. Mid.
That's it. But I think the real question is, when are we getting the top Onimaru 100 and the bottom Onimaru 100?
When I finish rating all my shows.
Oh, it's gonna be so long from now.
Yes.
No.
You're gonna have to sit me in a room or in front of a pod and be like, all right, we're going through this list. You're gonna rate all of them now.
That'd be funny. That'll be the stream. We'll be Twitch streamers for that.
There you go. Then I'll commit to doing all of it. And even watching those few shows that, like I was like 2 episodes away from finishing.
See, that's where I'm like, at some point you got to rip the Band-Aid off. Like you're so close.
Like Guilty Crown, Aldnoah Zero. There's a few others. I was gonna say something else. I forgot. This happened again.
Too much not mid, too much below mid.
Too much below mid. So yeah, that kind of concludes the whole bottom 100. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys weren't too offended. If you saw some of your favorites down there, listen, we acknowledge you. We said that there's always going to be someone that enjoys that one thing.
Yeah, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yeah, but I've come to the conclusion that not all shows are meant for you. They're not all going to resonate with you, and it's cool to have your own sort of bottom picks that that it works for other people, but doesn't mean that you have to bend over backwards to really try to understand it to like it. So
well, I think the one thing is a lot of times people will say this is something I've heard a lot just in general. They'll be like, you didn't get it, but a lot of times people really do get it. They just don't like the point. So sometimes people don't miss the point. They just don't like the point. And I think that's totally fair. Not everyone has to like every point. So
yeah, that's well said. And that's kind of it. So We're going to leave it off here, guys. Let us know again in the comments, some of your own picks for bottom 100 or some of them that you think should be higher. Not that we're going to rewatch them. We can't make that guarantee, but we'd like to know anyway.
After all, we're just weebs.
After all, what do we know? We're just weebs.